American lives. But immigrants
can we have a conversation? Hey,
children.
Rock, we have to have a conversation. We can't do this monologuing thing. Can we have a conversation? Like a dialogue, back and forth. Okay, but then when she's speaking, stop speaking, okay? That's how this works.
Well, I mean, she's just going on and on about
I think you're projecting. I think that's exactly what you were doing. Let her speak, and
then
you go. No, you're about to do it again. Just relax.
I just don't understand why
there
you
is
hate him
no
so
need
much.
to get so stirred up. We're just having a conversation. Let her speak.
I just don't know why you hate Trump so much. What did he do to you?
Let her speak, and then you can go. She was in the middle of speaking.
If you want to know why I do not approve of this president, it is because we are watching U.S. citizens be racially profiled. A man who is a literal police officer in Minnesota, who just happens to be Latino, has been detained not once, not twice, but 3 times now, 3 separate occasions, because he is Hispanic. So I have a problem with you making the claims that we're getting the worst of the worst off the streets when we watch them go into people's homes and into people's communities and literally with no warrants, no legal warrants, taking people who are U.S. citizens, who are military, who are police, who are residents. This is not how.
Did they release him?
It doesn't matter. Wait, are you okay with doing where your papers?
I asked you, did they release him? Why do you answer a question with a question?
Yes, days later.
Okay, but they released him, right?
I don't care.
That's not okay.
Why are we? Wait, did he have? Wait. Let me ask you a question, Rock. Was there a judicial warrant for his arrest?
Well, he looked Mexican, and they wanted to pull him, make sure he was documented.
And he showed his evidence of documentation, and they still detained him, sir.
Maybe they thought he was someone else. Maybe he was using fake IDs or something.
They had nobody else that they thought he was. They have illegally detained him 3 times. Do you want
don't
to
know
live in
they
a society?
illegally detained him. Maybe there was a reason that you weren't privy to.
He has been released without charges all 3 times, and he is an active police officer in Minnesota.
Well,
yes,
do you ever
I do know
think
that
maybe
they
he had
illegally
keep better company or not be around certain people? Why did
he was in his car driving by himself, and then one incident he was walking down the street.
Well, maybe he should, wear a little bit something
Should
better
he
hat
not
or
walk while
something.
brown? I mean,
what was she wearing?
Maybe he looks a little shady.
It's the what she was wearing excuse. That's exactly what it is.
You're
now victim blaming. This is classic victim blaming. What you're doing. You're trying to find.
I just find it bizarre.
No, it's the fact that he quite literally said this is what he gets for driving around Mexican. He said that himself.
So
he literally said that.
How does someone look Mexican? Like guaranteed. How do you know guaranteed they're Mexican?
Well, yeah, I mean, I could probably detect, but a lot of people probably can't. Okay. It just depends on the person.
You can detect, but for 100%, 100% accuracy.
Of heritage, of like Mexican in their blood.
You're going to be wrong at times guessing, correct?
Do I look Latina?
Of course.
Hey, do I look Latina at all? Just curious.
No.
I don't? Funny,
you
I'm
look
Puerto
Jewish.
Rican.
You look Israeli.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah, you look Israeli to me.
Well, that further proves how moronic you are and why people like you should be on the street detaining people based on racial profiling. Oh, I am. I was born Rodriguez.
Is that a basis is that a basis to arrest or even detain someone if they look Mexican or say Jewish or anything like that?
Well, you're not supposed to.
Right.
You're not supposed to. It's kind of wrong, I guess.
Well, not only is it wrong, it's against the law.
Yeah, but how do you blame Trump? This is what I'm trying to figure out. How do you connect all the way to Trump?
Well, because when Lincoln Riley, I'll answer the question. I'll answer the question because when Lincoln Riley was unalive, that was Biden's fault, right?
No, it wasn't Biden's fault.
Why did all of you guys blame Biden? No. All of you guys blame Biden. You said this was ultimately Biden's fault, so I'm just doing the same thing.
We didn't blame Biden. We blamed the laws that he created that allowed immigrants to unalive like my son.
He didn't create any laws. He didn't create any laws for that.
Well, he let them pour into our country, and my son didn't.
So you are blaming him. Okay, great. So you are blaming him. So if you're
what year did your son die?
If you guys could actually 2019.
Wait, what year did your
after Trump took office?
Trump was in office. So how is it that was?
Did I say he wasn't in office? But he was trying to fix the laws that Biden created. He
had no laws passed in the General Assembly, in the Congressional body,
in the Senate. He was being fought everywhere.
Dude, he had control and literally had the opportunity.
He was under impeachment. I guess you don't remember.
Well,
Obviously, you don't remember.
didn't he not have a trifecta for 2 of his 4 years that he should have been able to pass legislation around the immigration policy?
Do you realize the immigration policy came from originally from Obama?
Can you answer her question though?
Setting it up.
No, you're ignoring my question.
I just find it's odd that people don't come home and you guys are still trying to plug for the.
You didn't respond to it.
Dude, we're finding out from these Epstein files that millions of hundreds of thousands of children
and I
haven't
lost
come
my
home.
son to an illegal immigrant. Isn't that worth something? We don't need them here. We need to get these motherfuckers out of here or get them documented. That way, little boys and girls come home and don't get unalived. Do you ever think about
that? Immigrants are a quarter
It doesn't matter if it's one fucking person that is saved.
You are more likely to be killed by a white man than you are a illegal immigrant, sir. That is the fact of the matter. You are more likely in the United States to be unalived by a white man.
It's worth it.
And we could say one child, we should put Trump and Howard Lutnick and Steve Bannon and all of these other MFers in jail if we want to talk about saving children.
If we can save one child from
being you don't actually believe that, though.
Documented immigrant.
You don't care about children. You voted for
guys,
Trump.
We'll get to a new guest at 15. Guys, 15,000 likes. We'll get to a new guest, right? 15,000 likes.
Absorbed that you can't.
No, you're speaking the truth. If you cared about children, you would not have voted for Trump because right now Trump is allowing the Epstein files to go unchecked and
here you go. You
unprosecuted.
pivot. You got to get off important facts, and you got to get back to the fact that Biden had 4 years. And he did nothing with the Epstein files. Nobody even talked about him. You people look batshit fucking crazy.
Rock, let me ask you a question. Wait, pause,
Rock.
He was in charge for 4 years.
Rock, let her speak.
So let me get this straight. Biden did nothing, even though there was an active investigation, and he maintained separation from DOJ. But Trump has not remained separation from DOJ. He's in charge right now.
You had the documents in your hand, and you didn't even talk about them for 4 years.
So that's
you sound stupid right
Actually,
now.
I've been talking about Epstein files since 2016. Yes, I did. I have been talking about Epstein since 2018 when he first started getting prosecuted. So
all you people talked about is how much you hated Trump when Biden was president. It was the weirdest thing in the world.
I'm asking you. I need you to answer this question. Here you go. You're right. Biden didn't do it. Trump's in charge now. Why is he redacting the names of the people that assaulted people? And his high-ups are saying there's no there. And he just said in a press conference, we need to move on from Epstein. No, I'm not.
You're totally lying right now and spreading false
There's nothing that she said
information
that was
and
a lie.
rhetoric.
There's nothing that she said that was a lie.
Trump was just point blank asked by Caitlin Collins 2 days ago, why are we not prosecuting? What about the victims? He said, we need to move on from the Epstein files. I wasn't a problem in them. We need to move on. We all have more important things to move on to.
Trump wasn't the problem.
He is not planning to prosecute.
We don't know that.
His lead guy who went on Fox News said nothing to prosecute. It's not illegal to party with Epstein. Nothing I'm saying is infactual. So
this
you're
is
right.
Why I left the party.
Fuck Biden. Hey, fuck Biden for not doing this. Now Trump's in charge. Where's your excuse?
46 years I was a Democrat, and 3 years ago I left the fucking
You're
party.
pivoting. I'm
Because
asking
you
you a
guys
question.
are batshit fucking crazy.
Okay.
You guys
this proves
just
my
use
point. Thank you.
everything to suit your agenda.
Rock,
you guys have no facts.
Rock, you haven't responded to anything that she
it's
said.
It's nothing but
stop, Rock. You're not responding to her, right? You're completely pivoting to avoid the point, right? We already said, fuck Biden. If he could have done so, great. That's a bad thing that he didn't do that, right? Now on to Trump. We're talking about that. Why hasn't Trump done so?
Trump is doing everything
in relation to that. In relation to the e-files.
Why'd you just mute me? Because I'm dog walking you guys.
In relation to the e-files.
Is it because I'm dog walking you guys?
Why hasn't he released the e-files? Why hasn't he released the e-files unredacted?
He actually has, but once again, you had 4 fucking years.
Unredacted. We've already said that's
you sound
not a good
like a clown, dude.
We
you
already
had 4
said
fucking years.
Rock. We already said
and you didn't do a damn thing about it. I don't know why.
Rock.
You can't treat mental illness.
Yeah, I think that's very ironic coming from you. All right, listen. We already said, she already said that that's a bad thing. Now on to Trump. So if you're going to say it's a bad thing that Biden didn't release them, it should be a bad thing that Trump isn't releasing them, right?
Trump is releasing
them.
But
why
you
are
have
they
the Democrats
but they're
playing
not.
both sides.
Rock, they're not. You now are lying. They're not. They were supposed
Democratic
to be released over
judges,
30 days ago. They were supposed to be released over 30
see,
days
you mute
ago.
The fact.
I'm not muting
Democratic
I'm muting misinformation here. All right, we're about to get to a new. We're about to get to a new guest. We're
Democratic.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right. Goodbye.
It's all Democrats.
Okay.
Always Democrats.
Cool. Yes, every problem in your life is Democrats, sure. Guys, keep tapping and sharing. We're looking for opposition, please. If you vote for Trump, hit the request button. All right, let me bring up the next guest over here. And I am streaming on the tube. If you guys want to give me a sub over there, that would be great. It's Dougielifts, Dougielifts. Palings third body if you want to show support.
No,
We
might
also have
as
the
well
gift goal.
take me off. I'm sorry,
You're,
I don't mean to
you're
interrupt.
friendly? Are you friendly?
I am. I was ready to talk so much shit to that guy, but he's gone, so I'm gone.
You're good, man. I'll bring you down. Take care. All right. Again, guys, make sure you give a follow if you're enjoying live. Follow Jess as well, okay?
Wild world we live in, dog, man. Jesus.
It's been stressing me out lately, to say the least. Leo, what's up?
How are you?
Doing pretty well. How old are you? Leo?
38, he, him.
Okay, cool. And you voted for Trump?
No, but I would have now.
Okay, why is that?
Because you guys use a bunch of perpetual victimhood.
Okay, can you give me an example?
What?
I would say the example is your prompt. That's a pretty good example.
Okay, how is that playing into victimhood?
Because you're basically attacking people who are having a different opinion than you, and then making yourselves look like the victims.
In no way does the prompt above me insinuate that I'm trying to make us look like the victims. I am just calling you guys incels, because I think you are. Hello? Listen, man. Oh my god. Listen, it's going to be very hard to have a conversation if you continuously mute and unmute yourself because you have background noise. I am simply just calling you guys incels. That's it. That's all I am doing. In no way am I pushing that upon ourselves, calling us the victim. Are you there? I'm going to have to get to the next guest if you can't have a coherent conversation.
I'm just waiting to see how you guys aren't victims.
I just explained.
Can you explain again?
I don't know how many times I can say this. Nothing about the prompt insinuates that we are the victims at all. It's simply talking about you guys. If that's what you're inferring from it, that's on you. I'm not implying it.
Have you ever heard of play on words?
Yes, I know what play on words is. Yeah.
So you don't think that's it?
This is not what play on words means.
Sure, buddy.
A play on words would be something like when you guys say, stop shoving LGBT stuff down my throat. That would be a play on words, because it clearly means something else. This is not a play on words. I don't think you know what that term means. Well, you just don't know what that term means.
You're right.
It gets very aggravating when you guys start using terms that you don't know what they mean. When you guys use gaslighting, when you guys try to use like pivot, or I guess play on words, or any of these terms, you guys have no idea what they mean. You just heard them in a debate one time, they sounded nice to you, and you're like, all right, I'll use it this time. And you're never right when you use them, ever.
Maybe.
Definitely. All right, it's getting difficult to have a conversation with you.
I know. But I think
is there anything that you want to like say? Is there anything like you said you would vote for Trump now? Why is that?
I'd like to say, why the hell aren't we going to Washington D.C. and locking up these pedos?
P3DOs, just be TikTok friendly, please. Who's that? You talking about the ones the ones in office?
And everybody on that list.
So Trump.
And Clinton and Epstein.
Well, who else? Clinton. Well, Epstein is likely not alive.
I think every one of our politicians.
Okay, but you said you would vote for Trump.
But you got to continue to vote for.
Wait. When you first came onto the live, you said you would vote for Trump.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I would vote for Trump.
Okay, so you would simultaneously vote for Trump, but you would arrest him.
Absolutely.
That makes no fucking sense.
That makes zero.
That makes no goddamn sense.
I'm so confused right now.
Why?
It just
because your party has literally proven your party. Hold on, are you gonna let me explain why? Because your party has still proven that picking the felon is the better candidate. And anything else you got to throw
Wait,
at
what would you arrest Trump for? Let me ask you that. What would you arrest
Yeah, if you
Trump
can
for
talk to me a
then?
second,
What was it? You guys literally here's the ironic.
No. You said I would arrest Trump. What would you arrest Trump for?
Arrest Trump for whatever crime he did.
Okay, what about the files where they show Katie Johnson coming out and saying how him and Epstein cornered her in a dressing room and assaulted her when she was 13 years old? What about that?
Did I not say I would arrest Trump for all the crimes he did?
Right. So if you let me rephrase this. If you believe that he assaulted Katie Johnson at 13 with Epstein, you also believe he should still be our president?
Yes, over anything that
oh
you
my
guys...
God, I cannot talk to you, my guy. That's disgusting. You would want a pedophile. You want a PD, you want a P3DO to be president? No. Leo, you just openly admitted that if Trump is proved to have assaulted a 13-year-old, you'd want him as your president. Like, I can't.
That's wild, dude. I'm gonna have to. I can't lift somebody up like this. If that's what you're advocating for, go away. I don't want anything to do with you. Jesus Christ. These people are getting worse. They're absolutely getting worse. Talking to them 2 years ago wasn't so bad, and like every single guest I have within the last like several weeks, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Everyone, if you're joining live, follow myself, follow Jess. I have my pay links in the bio. Make sure you show her some support as well. I got my gift goal. I am streaming on the tube as well. Make sure you guys sub to me over there, Dougielifts. Hey, Star, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how old are you?
I am 46 as your new government.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but all right. Did you vote for Trump?
I don't know what that means.
Did you vote for Trump?
Well, I didn't vote for Trump. I was the former president of Cascadia in the Pacific Northwest.
Cool.
What is going on today? What is going on? I don't even know how to respond to that.
Well, you had an entire generation that was omitted by the boomers and a bunch of hipster sciolists.
What?
Well, we found out what the majority actually does want 11 years ago. Any group at random will vote. They'd prefer the smartest person be their leader rather than the most popular. So take that in.
Okay, it's hard to take in anything from what you just said, but are you insinuating Trump was smart?
That means all your elections worldwide are now irrelevant. You're instead testing to see how smart people are. Do you think they're smarter than the world's smartest person right now?
Who is smarter than the world's smartest person?
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to find that out so you can find your next
democracy
representative.
I feel like my brain is being broken in real time. I'm so
Well, maybe you're 11 years behind, and when you hear the truth, it's astounding.
Wait, Star, what's the truth?
Well, the U.S. actually ended 11 years ago in 2014.
By what?
X.
How did that happen?
Well, the majority wants the smartest to lead, like I said. What's the smartest person?
No. What process?
Nationalism
hey,
is
sweetie. What process was established that caused us to no longer be the United States?
Well, we found out what the majority wants.
Okay, great. When we voted, we unfortunately 11 years ago.
So the smartest person's going to tell you, "Hey, America, you never upheld the right to life."
Well, we can tell you're not the smartest person in the room right now, so I need you to be a little more concise with your thoughts.
Hey, man. Hey, just let her speak, and then you can go. And guys, we're looking for opposition people who disagree with the prompt, or you voted for Trump. Hit the request button. We'll get to you at
so I'll send
40K.
you to Antarctica for censorship and violating the First Amendment.
Cool story, bro. Cool story. I live in Virginia, the birthplace of our nation. I'm also representative of Virginia, and I don't know what in God's name you are trying to say, but it does not make sense.
Well, I've been your new government for 11 years. You were just too dumb to notice as the public.
Well, somehow I got elected in my government, so I mean, it's really weird that you claim to be my government when I'm my government now.
Did you see the movie Idiocracy?
Yeah, it's becoming a literal documentary. Yes.
Yeah, you're the idiocracy. Everyone
but
me.
I assure you that's not the case.
Rook, I know you wanted to say
You are
something.
most definitely Dak Shepard's character right now.
Right. So
Trust
sardonic
me,
mockery is the favorite humor of psychopaths, right?
I have two questions for you, my man. One, if our government ended 11 years ago, do we still have the First Amendment for you to send people to Antarctica for violating? And two, are you a sovereign citizen?
So I'm teaching you how important freedom of speech is.
Answer his
first
question.
The old government didn't let you know that America ended.
So are you a sovereign citizen? Is that where this whole thing is going?
I'm the first king of Amaxa. It's a one-nation continent today called Amaxa. I got rid of state and national borders on the entire continent. I gave Japan back its independence, Hawaii back its independence.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not taking Greenland.
I don't even know if I can platform something like this just because you're just saying like the wildest stuff, and there's no way.
I have to assume it's either a troll.
I lead every military. So in the Democracy Republic, the smartest leads every military and the First World Army because NATO and SCO nations leads to polarity.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Fractured leadership.
Star, when was the last time you visited your psychiatrist?
Well, I'm the leading sociologist today as your new government.
Yeah, all right. Okay. That's it. All right. Get out of here. I don't know if he was trolling or he actually was on his meds or off his meds, or I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
As someone who recently revisited Telegram today, I don't know what to think anymore. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
The world is a scary place, guys.
Yeah, to say the least.
I mean, I worked in a federal courthouse over the summer and saw a bunch of sob sits over the summer, and that was a whole nother level from their own special brand of craziness.
Oh, I'm sure. Steven, how you doing?
Pretty good, you?
Not bad, man. How old are you?
I'm 26.
All right, what's up?
Your thing says, MAGA, you're all just a bunch of incels. I don't think I'm an incel.
Okay. You voted for Trump?
I did.
Okay. How do you think he's doing so far?
I think he's doing... I'd like to see more deportations, but I think he's doing a decent job considering all the friction he's getting.
Okay. So is this your number one issue? Like immigration, deportations, things like that?
Yep.
Okay. Why is that?
Because it's so difficult to get a good paying job, whether you're in trades right now because of illegal aliens or get like an IT job because of H-1B visas. It's very difficult for Americans to get jobs.
Can you show that to be the case, that are taking jobs, quote unquote?
Yeah. So for example, Amazon laid off, it was I think it was 13,000 people, and then took in applied for 15,000 H-1B visas or something like that. They laid people off and then just...
What does that have to do with undocumented immigrants?
Well, it's just immigration in general. I was just saying.
Well, but
H-1B visa.
Well, but then the
illegal aliens.
Well, but hold on. Then it sounds like you're against immigration in overall, and not just undocumented immigrants.
Well, didn't Trump also expand? Didn't Trump also expand H-1B visas?
He put $100,000 fee on the H-1B, but he did expand the H-1A or H-2A, which is the.
Isn't he also selling off immigration status to the highest bidder for $1 million or $5 million or something?
Okay, someone who can buy $5 million green cards is not competing with me for a job.
Well, here's my problem with your statement, though. First of all,
in fact, they're creating jobs.
They're not actually.
Because they're actually
coming. No, they're coming in, and a lot of the businesses they're starting are manufactured that are majority AI, meaning that most of their factories and businesses are being run. Take a data center, for example. Once the building is actually constructed, it consists of all of maybe 10 to at top 50, depending on the size of the data center, actual employees that are going to be in their bodies in the seats.
Well,
so you're mistaken.
AI doesn't compete with me on rent, so.
Well, wait, so here's my problem with your statement. We have individuals that are saying that immigrants are coming and sucking up our resources in regards to SNAP and housing and all of these other things, also not factual. But then we have people like you that says they're getting all the jobs, which is also not factual. So it's I feel like you guys are trying to get both, we have more jobs than bodies in the country. If you can't get a job, that is not because of immigrants.
If there's more jobs than bodies, that's a good thing, because then those jobs have to compete for workers, and you're devaluing the workers when you're importing immigrants.
No, we're not.
Yes,
actually,
you are.
And actually, if
that's
you actually stood for a Democrat,
and if you actually the past 50 years,
no, jobs pay so shit because we have a government that's allowed them to keep the minimum wage at $7.25 since the what 80s, 90s. Like, no, jobs pay shit because the government allows corporations, who literally are the manufacturers of the largest people that need social safety nets such as SNAP, Medicaid, housing subsidies, etc. They're been allowed to pay poverty wages. That's why the job market and people are able to pay shit. In fact, most of our mom and pop and small business owned companies are paying well beyond the minimum wage. They're actually the ones that have competitive job roles. So it's funny to me that you're simping for Trump, who is all about eliminating the ability to even have overtime, because he just feels like we should create an environment where you just hire all these people. Yeah, I'm not kidding.
He wanted to take tax off overtime.
Have you read the actual policy on the tax on overtime?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Oh, well, then you would know that there's a cap. You would know that it's incentivizing businesses to intentionally not expand overtime whatsoever, which is already happening in large-scale corporations.
How does it incentivize businesses not to give overtime?
Because if they can't tax it, they don't want to expand it. So they're literally cutting people's hours and not allow. I literally have had workers come up to me that are complaining about the fact that they are no longer receiving overtime. I'm a literal elected official. This is already happening this year.
Wait, how is that? That doesn't make sense. Why? What, you think the business works for the government? The business, it cares how much taxes the government gets?
The business does work for the government. Yes, that is exactly why corporations have the largest subsidies. You know that Walmart, quite literally, has 60% of their employees that require and need SNAP benefits to feed their families. The same SNAP benefits they turn around and use at Walmart, where they're employed, to give that money right back to Walmart. So Walmart is double dipping and being allowed to pay poverty wages, also keeping the hours below the 32 minimum.
Go back to the overtime. You claimed that corporations don't want to give more overtime because they're not going to pay taxes on it.
Yes, they are avoiding paying overtime. Yes.
That makes 0 sense.
Cool. Then tell me why multiple people in large corporations have been telling me that their overtime time has been gradually cut, and they're hiring and contracting people into those businesses to no longer pay overtime.
I don't know. That has nothing to do with it. No taxes on overtime.
It's a wild. So it's just ironic that Trump puts a bill in place that, again, has a maximum. You can only get a maximum of your overtime not taxed. And all of a sudden, we see a spike in corporations hiring out contractors, to the point that I'm getting lobbied by multiple workforce members within these corporations that are saying we are getting cut out of our overtime, and they are bringing outside people in to do the jobs just to bypass paying us overtime. Why would they do that?
So now you're concerned that Trump's creating more jobs.
He's not creating more jobs. He's giving it to contractors who don't even live in the state. He is literally giving away jobs to contractors.
Who works as contractors for like Walmart? It's illegal aliens working the ITIS.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. That's the only way illegal aliens can, quote, legally tax-wise work.
Guys, we are looking for opposition, please. If you voted for Trump, hit the request button. We'll move on at 50K, guys, to a new guest.
Yeah, I mean the lack of. I'm sorry, you didn't even know that the HR1 had a max for overtime. It also has a max for tips. It also has a max on Social Security. Nothing, and you know it doesn't have. You know it doesn't have a max. No, it doesn't. Why don't we have a max for the
because then a
tax on
billionaire is just going to claim he got a $1 billion tip.
That is the carve-out that he's created. He is allowing people to claim tips within other industries that are not tip services.
Yeah, there's a cap on it. So that's what you want there to be, not a cap? There has to be a cap, or it's just going to be a tax loophole.
It is literally a $25,000 a year cap for your total income.
$25,000 not taxed is pretty damn good.
Everyday Americans. How is that helping everyday Americans when you have a $25,000 income cap?
It's not an income cap. It's a cap on untaxed income.
It is no, you're not listening. Oh my God. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Brooke, you want to say anything?
I don't understand what this guy doesn't understand about this, to be completely honest with you. I mean, to your point about if it didn't have a cap, then billionaires could claim they got $1 billion tip or whatever. Why not make the cap $100,000 so that normal everyday people can benefit from it, rather than a $25,000 cap that is so incredibly close to poverty line anywhere that it just doesn't help people. Like I truly don't understand.
What waiter makes $100,000?
I would assume
actually, depending on where you work, quite a few actually.
It depends. If you're at if you're a waiter at nicer restaurants, depending on the area, you can make that for sure.
So let me read to you exactly let me tell you exactly. I'm going to give you an example. An employee earns $20 an hour and works 50 hours, resulting in 10 hours. I'm sorry, that's the overtime one. Let me do the tax on tips. But let me tell you this one too. An employee earns $20 an hour and works 50 hours, resulting in 10 hours of overtime. The 10 hours are paid at 1.5, so $30 an hour. The $10 premium per hour, 30 minus the 10, is the only qualified portion and only up to $12,500 a year. That's the overtime rule. So I've just described that. Does that make sense to you? Does that sound like it's really helping people in a large scale?
What, an extra $12,000 a year?
No, not an extra 12. An extra 12. Okay. Do you understand the tax on $12,000 is like maybe $50?
The tax on $12,000 is not $50.
Yeah. What is it then?
Well, the tax on the normal income you're talking about without.
Yes, normal percentage. What would be the average tax?
It'd be like
for if you make $12,500 in a year.
Oh, 12,000. I don't know. It'd be crap. When I get my paycheck, it's when I make $20 an hour, I get paid like 15. I pay 15,
no, but you're
14.
You're also taking into consideration Social Security and Medicare and state tax. I'm talking about federal alone. You probably pay for $12,500. I'll say you maybe pay $150, $200. Maybe. I don't think it's that much though. On a $12,500. So you're going to tell me that something that's not even going to put groceries in my cart for a week is some astronomical savings for the working class?
An extra $200. That's only if you're making $1,200. No one's making $1,200 a year. We don't live in the Czech Republic.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. Oh my God. The way that this policy is in place is that you only get no tax on your overtime if your overtime equates to at the max $12,500. So let's say you got $12,500 of overtime in a year. You're going to save the tax on that. That doesn't mean you're getting $12,500. You would have gotten that regardless. It's saying you're saving the roughly $100 to $200 that you would have paid in federal income tax. That is not a significant savings in a year for a working class family.
Yeah, but
you're not understanding how taxes work.
The working class family doesn't make $1,200 a year.
I'm saying $12,500 as the max.
$12,000 a year is not working class.
I didn't say that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's
I feel like I'm talking to a wall right now.
Do you not understand what she was saying?
Income in the United States is
she's not talking about just regular income.
I am explaining to you that the no tax on overtime, okay? Let's say you make $75,000, okay? A regular time, and that is paid, and you pay your regular taxes on it, okay? If you accrued an additional up to $12,500, because that is the max allowance under HR 1, the savings you would save from this policy based on the tax write-off would be about $150 to $200 a year. So what I'm trying to explain to you is this no tax on overtime that you are making sound like it's such a benefit is saving the average person at most $150 to $200, and that's if they've gotten the max overtime from their regular taxes. I am not saying that's what they're making per year. I'm explaining to you that at the most, they are going to save roughly $150 to $200 in taxes they would have normally paid to the federal government. That is not a significant savings.
Well, that's better than nothing.
It's not better than nothing. I don't fill my grocery basket up in a week with that amount of money.
The thing is that it was portrayed as this great thing for people that pertains to, right? And sure, $100, yeah, it beats nothing. Is it going to make any difference in anybody's life? No, but we're talking about the bill as a whole, as it relates to also people who are making millions and billions of dollars getting huge tax cuts. So we're saying that's not fair in relation to what they got. Does that make sense?
Well, how many jobs does someone making who's dependent on, who's making in that group that's getting a $200 tax?
No. What's being said is that hold on. But what's being said is that those in the top 1%, and I don't know what that cutoff is, but they got the most significant tax cuts, right?
Yes.
And in relation,
I was just going to say,
yeah.
Real quick, Doug, I'm just looked it up. If someone has an income of $1 million under the HR1, their new tax savings will be roughly $60,000 to over $100,000 per year. So I got $200 for my save tax on overtime, and the dude that makes $1 million a year and bankrolling people and paying people fucking poverty wages, that MFer got $60,000 to $100,000. Make that make sense.
$100 a year is not the top 1%.
I said $1 million a year.
Yeah,
I said a guy making $1 million a year. Jobs that are paying poverty wages that people need SNAP benefits, dude.
It's better than no jobs.
See, but oh my God,
so dude. You're okay with them getting an additional $60,000 plus a year under the tax policy, but a guy that's working overtime and busting his ass and working 50, 60 hours a week to probably make sure that CEO gets his $1 million, you're okay with him only getting $200 a year extra in his pocket. That's what you're saying.
Well, the guy who's making $1 million a year obviously has a business or a job that's
and that business valuable. Only functions because the poverty wage employees work for him who are getting nothing back.
You're not letting me finish, ma'am.
I know, but guess we got news for you. That's going to exist no matter what.
$100,000 is a lot better in the hands of that person than the government.
What about people in the middle class with $100 though? First of all, no, and second of all, you're still not answering the question of how that's fair. Like you're trying to avoid it. How is that fair?
Because the guy who makes $1 million a year is more valuable to society.
Okay, first of all, I highly disagree. We can go down that route. But secondly, even if that were true, whether they make an extra 100 or not via taxes, they're still going to be doing their thing. That doesn't change. Wouldn't you want to get a bigger tax cut in relation to what they get? You're telling me you don't want that.
I'd rather everyone pays less taxes. Everybody pays less taxes.
Okay.
I'd rather a flat tax, honestly.
Okay, well, a flat tax, unfortunately, disproportionately hurts those in the lower class, right? If you're making, say,
correct,
$20,000 a year, it's not fair. It's not fair. I'll explain why. Let's say it's 10%. Let's just make it easy, okay? Somebody who's making $10 million a year, if there's a 10% tax, that's just $1 million. That doesn't make or break their life at all. Their life remains the same. If you are making, say, $40,000 a year and it's 10%, that's $4,000. That's the difference between you paying rent or not, you being able to pay for your car or not. So it's not fair.
Well, the guy who's making $10 million a year is obviously doing something that's far beneficial to society and has a larger impact.
Let me ask you a question. When I think, and I'm going to give you an example of our current president. Did our current president start out with nothing and build wealth from nothing?
No, he got a loan of $1 million from his father.
No, he did not get a loan. He was given $400 million from his dad. Not $1 million, $400 million, of which some he squandered, some he invested. He had the ability, because of his father's wealth and access to money, to fail over and over again. And now, personally, he is using, because the fact that he's made, what was it, like I heard, like $3.8 billion or $3.3 billion in the 1 year he's been president because of corrupt. Yeah. So anyways, and now he's using his quite little presidency to lay in his pockets for the future. But regardless, if you acknowledge the fact that Trump's success stems solely from the fact that he came from wealth and someone, namely his father, gifted him millions upon millions of dollars to fail over and over again and eventually become a successful, I'm using air quotes, businessman. Why is it you think it's acceptable for people that don't come from that leverage of wealth and have the ability to fail and make mistakes to that leverage? Why do you think it's okay for them to make poverty wages and not be able to have a better break when it comes to the tax bracket when literally those people making poverty wages...
How did Trump's father get that money?
his father had wealth as well. He literally came here with wealth from Germany.
Somebody worked hard for that wealth. Somebody made value.
He came from Germany, so I don't know how I'll be 100. I don't know how much. I'll be 100. I don't know how much work he did to get that wealth from his daddy in Germany. I'll be honest. I don't know how that money came in his pocket because where he came from during that time frame, it's a little sus. So I'm not going to make the guesses on how the Trump family aligned their pockets pre-Donald Trump. What I'm just pointing out to you is the fact that
at some point somebody worked hard for that money.
Hey, Rook, do you mind if I bring you down? I'm gonna. Matt's gonna come on. I can bring you up a little bit later, though. Take care, man. Let me bring Matt up here real quick.
I just want to highlight that the reason these people are rich, the reason the owner of Amazon, the reason the owner of Walmart, is because working class people who are being paid poverty wages and not given the ability to be lifted up are keeping their pockets rich. And
is that why you want to import competition for them? For those
actually, Steve, if I may, and Jess, I do apologize for interrupting you, but I actually can answer this question. Fred Trump made a large amount of money because of the federal government, because the federal government subsidized a bunch of the buildings that he made in the 40s and the 1950s. So actually, Fred Trump owes a large amount of his fortune, and by proxy, Donald Trump, to the federal government. So that's where that money came from, a lot of it. So when you say he worked hard for that money, no, he made it off the backs of the American taxpayer.
You there, Stephen? Steven?
Yeah. So the average person can do what Trump's father did, right?
Wrong, because what you would need is you would need capital in the first place to be able to start with the buildings. But then once you're able to do that, hold on.
Just doesn't give subsidies to just anyone.
Exactly. They don't give subsidies just to anyone. So it's a combination of the two things. So the two things that it's a combination of are, number one, having some money already, which Jess and Doug already pointed out to you. And then number two, taking advantage of government programs. So it's a double 1-2 whammy. You're starting on third base, Stephen.
The fact is,
yeah, exactly. I know. I agree with you. Your speechlessness tells us everything that we need to know. You're speechless because it's wild that we simp for these people who didn't do fuck all. Exactly. I agree with you.
If they didn't do anything, then anybody can do what Trump's father did.
Incorrect.
Oh,
they couldn't.
You're not listening to what he said.
They can't. You're literally not listening.
Well, then someone before Trump's father obviously worked hard for that money. That's what a family dynasty is.
Oh my God. No, you understand that Trump's father came out of literal Germany. Like, oh my God. Oh.
Okay, here, let me give you a personal example. And this is, so listen, I grew up in an affluent area. My parents, I don't know if they're technically 1%, but they're both doctors. They make good money. We grew up in a good area, whatever, right? Went to a good school. There was a great school district, right? I always had food on the table. We went on vacations, things like that, right?
They worked hard.
Well, hold on. What I'm saying is I've never been in debt in my entire life. When I went to college, they paid for it, all right? Now, they've never given me money since or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is not everybody is afforded those great opportunities. People that grew up with parents that have far less money than I do, or maybe they didn't have parents, or whatever the case might be, they didn't get the opportunities that I did. They weren't able to go to a great school district. They weren't able to go to college, or if they did, they had to take out many loans, and now they're in plenty of debt. So I'm just giving you examples of we're not all starting in the same spot, like at all. Like not even remotely close. The work that I have put in relation to what was given to me is far less than what some of these other people have been. What some of these other people have given. Some people that didn't get the same opportunities I did are far further in life than I am. Right? Some, but
right, they worked hard.
I understand, but what I'm trying to say that is very few and far between. They're not starting at the same spot.
So I just want to highlight that Trump's grandfather quite literally made money off the backs of minors and women in brothels. And that is how he came into his wealth during the Klondike Gold Rush. He then took that money and gave it to his son, who quite literally was deemed a risk by every other bank. But Deutsche Bank ended up giving him and his son Donald billions of dollars in loans to their demise in many times. There's also a vicious cycle of the fact that these top 1%ers, these millionaires and now billionaires, quite literally are borrowing money to pay off their debt and then borrowing money off of that debt and so on and so forth. They literally, in actual liquid like real dollars, they don't have any money. They are, by definition, poor except on paper. And so you have these people that are literally taking money and creating debt in other banks and institutions. Elon Musk is a great example. When he bought X, he quite literally levied his stock in Tesla, many of which he didn't even actually sell outright. He just levied the stock itself. So it's the fact that you're permitting these people who've many times built their wealth in really kind of grotesque ways on the backs of actual working class citizens, and sometimes people that weren't even given the ability to decide whether they were working class. Pretty sure those brothels probably didn't have a lot of options. And then Elon Musk's family comes from literal blood mines. So like, you're okay with those people coming in here and getting subsidies and payouts all from our government, but you have a problem with putting them in a higher tax bracket to benefit everyday people. It's
because
wild
it doesn't
to me.
benefit everyday people.
It absolutely does. Do you know that before Reagan came in and completely lopsided the tax bracket, we had the lowest poverty level in U.S. history at 9%. It sits at 23% right now. And that 23% is a reflection of them claiming that the poverty level for a single person is 13 grand a year. So if you make 14 grand a year, the federal government says you're
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Destroyed the working class.
No, he destroyed the working class. His tax policy absolutely decimated the working class. He decimated the working class by blaming Black women who were quite literally not the problem.
Yeah,
you are wrong.
He let in
millions of illegal aliens. Stephen, you great. That's great. He did do that. Now show us the economic study that proves your point. Because guess what? I've read multiple economic studies about the 1980s, and the only thing that Ronald Reagan did that ruined the middle class was introducing supply-side economics. And guess what? I can show you about 10 different economic studies from Penn, from Wharton, from Harvard, from Yale, et cetera, from the Peterson Economic Institute. I can show you all of them that all prove that it's supply-side economics, aka trickle-down, if you didn't know, that's what it's called. Supply-side economics, that's what killed the middle class in America. Had nothing to do with giving amnesty to 2 million people.
Well, when he gave amnesty to 2 million people, that sent a message to around the world
that
you can come illegally to the United States and eventually we'll give you status. And that created many illegal jobs
you can say whatever you want. Listen, hey, Stephen, bud. Hey, bud, listen, I know you got big feelings. Hey, bud, I know you got big feelings on this one. I know you do. But here's the thing. You actually can't prove anything that you're saying. You're literally just spouting bullshit out. So unless you can actually prove that and correlate the numbers, you're just giving us cause. You're great. Then show us, prove it.
Okay, since the Hart-Celler
I want an actual source. I want an actual source.
Wages have been stagnant.
I'm so sorry.
Everything has gotten more expensive.
Hey, dude, can you give an actual source? Are you able to give an actual source? That's what he's asking for. Can you please provide that?
What, the fact that the cost of living has gone up since 1965?
The cost of living isn't directly related to that. That's causation correlation fallacy. You can't prove that it's directly related to that.
Well, how am I supposed to?
You would actually have to show vis-a-vis a study. Like, for example, I can pull up economic studies right now. Like, for example, I can send them to Doug via Discord, and he can put them up on the screen that will prove to everybody in here, to all 600 people in here, that trickle-down economics did not work because we have 40 years of economic data that proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Because it didn't work. Because we have the economic data and we can directly correlate it to Reagan's policies.
Okay,
it's actually really simple. So now what I want you to do... No. So now what I want you to do is I want you to give me the source for your point, because you've made a claim, my friend, and in a discussion like this, when you make a claim, you have to back it up. So I've asked you for your source.
You're
please provide
asking
it.
a random person
I'm waiting.
Go find a random source.
Steven, I'm waiting for your source.
I'm not going to be able to fully understand.
I know you can't because there is no source because I know you can't find the source because it doesn't exist.
You think the cost of living hasn't gone up in the last 60 years?
No, the cost of living always goes up, you idiot.
Yeah, but wages haven't gone up.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's directly correlated to migration to the United States.
But are you for real?
False. That is completely false. We have, again, I talked about this earlier. The cost of the inflation rate has not been reflected in our wages because we have a government that literally gives permission for the largest corporations to pay us poverty wages without question. If you look at all of the metrics of what we should be paid.
Let her finish.
No, we're not. I literally, in my state, right now, our government last year, under a Republican governor who had the ability to veto, if any, all legislation that came down the pipeline, we pushed a piece of legislation out that said that farm workers and farm laborers, some of the hardest workers in our state, would now be deemed and required to be paid the minimum wage. Our minimum wage right now is $12.77. We are working to move it to $15 like other states have done, to include some very Republican states like Florida, for example, who literally has $15 as their minimum wage. So we are working towards that. You know what the governor said? No, I don't want that wage to go up, even though these are the hardest workers. We have consistently seen pushback from Republicans only saying that they didn't want people that are working class to be making the same rate. They wanted them to be exempt the way the current law currently is written, saying that you can pay this person $7.50 an hour, the federal wage, knowing damn well nobody can live off that.
Exactly. And then
minimum wage doesn't apply to contractors.
Contractors never make the minimum wage. They always make above the minimum
illegal
wage.
aliens. Illegal aliens work as contractors.
Yeah. Okay. So to piggyback off of what Jess said, because what Jess said is incredibly intelligent and 100% correct. But to piggyback off of what Jess said, you can take it a step further. Let's look at two different cases. Let's look at Alabama and let's look at Florida. When Florida decided to make it a felony to employ undocumented people, what happened to Florida? Great, awesome, fantastic. So glad you agree. What happened to Florida's economy?
Well, there's a temporary decrease.
There's not a temporary decrease.
Citizens can get those jobs and work.
Great and fantastic. Exactly, fantastic. That's exactly right, Stephen. Citizens can get those jobs, and guess what's happened? No one is taking those jobs. And there is a huge black hole in the state of Florida. Guess who's, Doug, I'm so sorry for you, my friend, as being a resident of Florida. Guess who is 50th in the nation right now for inflation by state?
Florida.
Oh, that's right. It's Florida. And guess who has a huge lack of construction workers when they desperately need it? Oh, that's right. Florida. Guess who has a huge lack of people to work picking oranges, and so orange fields are dying because of greening disease. Oh, that's right, Florida. That's right, because what Alabama found out before them when they tried to do this is that their economy didn't recover, and they repealed that very same law that Florida tried to put in place.
Thank you, Andy.
So no, it doesn't work because Americans don't want to do those jobs, dude.
Yeah, maybe they should pay more.
Oh my God, this guy.
You literally are voting for people that don't want them to pay more.
That was the whole point.
People that do not want them to pay for.
Well, then those farms will go out of business. Those construction companies will go out of business.
These are small businesses. Small farms.
God damn, man.
I said small businesses pay more.
They do, but in Virginia, let me give you an example.
They don't.
Let her finish.
In Virginia, 10 years ago, we had over 3,000 farms, independent farms in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Currently, we have less than 400 in 10 years. That significant shift happened because of two moments in our current history. It happened when Trump levied tariffs in 2018 on the steel industry. It completely decimated the farms here in Virginia. And the small business farmers that had been working, mom and pop, doing it the right way, they could not afford the overhead from the tariffs that were levied, and they had to either sell their businesses to real estate developers, go bankrupt, or sell off to bigger farms and have their farms absorbed by large farms that could take care of the overhead. What I am trying and what we are trying to highlight to you is the politicians you are voting for are unilaterally trying to create monopolies in every fucking industry by capping out people who are small businesses, who are doing it right, who are paying livable fucking wages, and they're creating an environment where they can't successfully do that anymore at the benefit of large corporations like Walmart, like Amazon, like all of these other fucking things that are getting in the way.
Is that why
of
Amazon warehouses are getting raided by ICE?
What does that have to do with what I'm saying, my guy?
They're hiring illegal aliens. They're
literally raiding locations and taking documented people into custody. I miss me with this bullshit. 75% of people that have been taken and detained do not have a criminal record, many of which have sought legal asylum and have had some form of documentation or are applying for green cards.
Illegally entering the United States is a crime.
Not if you're seeking asylum.
Overstaying a visa is an immigration violation in which the punishment
is it a criminal
is deportation.
violation? Is it a criminal violation?
No, because deportation is not a criminal punishment.
The punishment isn't always just to point out, the punishment isn't always deportation. Just FYI, you're making a blanket statement that is not true.
Then what's the punishment for overstaying a visa?
Sometimes it's a fine, sometimes it's a penalty, but it's not always deportation. Just FYI, the same thing with 1325, my man.
All right. Well,
you literally don't know the law. You should read up on this.
We're just about at 50K, anyways.
And again, sorry. I was just going to say, legal asylum seeking has also been criminalized under this administration. And it's the fact that our asylum laws...
They're faking.
No, our asylum laws have holes in them, and they are a problem, and I'm not going to deny that. But you don't have an administration trying to fix the law. You have an administration trying to supersede the law and attack people that are doing it based on our current laws that have faults. That's a problem. That is a problem. You are criminalizing people.
Asylum here from South America, other than maybe the exception of Venezuela, is not seeking asylum. They're full of crap. They're not facing political persecution. No one from Ecuador is facing political persecution.
Okay. All right. Listen, man, we hit 50K. I said that was the goal to move on to new guests. So we hit the end of the conversation. Okay.
I won.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. That's what you need to say. Oh Jesus,
Doug! I'll drop back down and let you talk to some other people. Jess, by the way, I've never been up with you before, but you absolutely destroyed him. That was amazing. Just FYI, thank you very much.
Guys, Jesus Christ.
Guys, make sure you give Matt a follow, okay?
Appreciate you, Matt.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you guys. Bye.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, before we get to you, if you guys are enjoying the live, make sure you guys all send in the heart me. It's at the top left. Click the red follow button on the top left. Absolutely give Jess a follow, show her some support. Pay links are in the bio for me, and I am streaming on the tube currently, so if you guys can sub to me over there, that'd be great. The link is in the bio. I don't know what to call you. What do I call you, guest?
The Ghost Dem. I'm a friendly man, but I'm gonna get down for a minute. I just want to straighten out this overtime policy for you guys real quick.
Real quick. Yep.
Okay, she was partly right. Okay, it is only a $12,500 deduction. Okay, and it will help some people, and it for me it amounted to about a $3,000 return, and I worked about 35K in overtime, but I only got credit for 13.1 because I'm married. But here's the thing, like the no tax on tips, which is a point for her to really bring up, is that it's not going to help the people simply because if you're already getting a child tax credit or earned income credit, you're already getting credits. So that means you don't meet the income threshold to even have a deduction help you.
Fair enough.
So this is what you have to push. You know, this.
Okay. Thank you, David. Guys, please, I'm really not looking for any other friendlies, okay? Please, just opposition, please. Wow. Sorry, guys. I know you're not going to like this guest.
That was beautiful.
What's up, Liam? Just give us your age. Hold on, give us your age real quick for TikTok TOS. I know you're above 18. Just I gotta have you say it.
45, California. I voted.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, we'll make the goal. We can make it 100K. All right. So, if you guys want a new one, just tap quick. We are looking for ops, though. Okay. All right. What's up, Liam? Liam, you're on mute. You're muted. I didn't mute you.
Oh yeah, I see. I was muted. That's okay. It started early. All right.
Okay.
So listening to Matt scream at the guest, with his female counterpart here about immigration and
female counterpart.
Sure,
why was it?
Yeah,
why was it necessary to say it like
that? Because she sounds like a human adult female, and I just wanted to specify that, if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, typically it might be better to refer to someone as a woman.
I wanted to go straight to the point. I could have called her a woman, but it's
you
not
really. You can just
really...
address me as delegate if you'd like. That's fine.
Okay, but you know what I mean by I didn't want to address you as a social construct, so I just wanted to get that out there right away.
Got it.
If that's okay.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Okay, so anyway, back to immigration, and you're talking about, I think this is the problem. I've never really heard the actual problem with immigration. You guys have never really addressed it. So you're talking about what the immigrant brings into the economy constantly, okay?
What do you mean we never addressed it? What do you mean we never addressed it?
Let me make my argument. I'm almost there. So I want to ask the young lady on the panel here, what do you think roughly the immigrant, the farm working immigrant makes per hour in the U.S.?
Depends on where they live.
Yeah, sure. But what would you say the average would be?
I mean, again, every law is different. So like I was just highlighting how here in Virginia
there is an average. Just guess, please.
$10 an hour.
$18 an hour. So you're not even close. It's between
it's different everywhere. It was just a guess.
Between 14 and 21. So there you go. You don't even know what you're talking about there. But this is the problem with immigration. Would you say what percentage of immigrants that come into the U.S. would be hardened criminals?
So just to be clear, entry level average is $10 to $11. So funny enough, what I said.
No, it's not $10 to $11.
Entry level positions average at $10 to $11.
Well, yeah, well, hold on. I just looked up. That's true too. Now you can take the average of all of them. That's fine. But going in, yes, it would be that.
Yeah, no, that's what I got. It's $18 an hour. Okay,
right. But
I never said entry level positions. Nice changing the goalposts.
However, though, in order to get to that $18 an hour or whatever it is that you said,
that's great. But that was never my claim.
I understand that, but you have to start at the 10 or 11, whatever it is.
No, you don't have to. I didn't say anything about starting.
Yes, you do. That's a starting. Yes, you do have to start at that. That's the point.
I said, what was the net average of an immigrant farm worker? I never said starting.
Immigrant farm worker? Hold on.
That's different. Now that's going to be different.
The immigrant.
Oh, you guys don't listen. Worker. Okay, cool. My bad.
You didn't say immigrant farm worker.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Play it back. Play the clip back.
Liam, we can't do that on TikTok. Live.
Oh,
they can do it after the
Dean does that. Dean does that all the time.
Well, Dean might
caught him in his lies by doing that.
Well,
Dean it's still right at $18. I'll give it to you. It's still
beautiful. Okay, we're on the same page.
Although undocumented migrants are more likely to
never said undocumented. Okay. Again, the goalpost is moving.
Well, migrants would include them. Migrants would include them, but okay.
Okay, so this is my point. What would you say the level of criminals coming into this country, who new immigrants would be criminals? Let's even make the argument under the Biden administration. Who knows the number? 10, 20 million, who cares? But let's just say, how many of those would be criminals? Let's say there is 10 million. How many roughly would you say would be hardened criminals coming into the U.S.?
Well, what's a hardened?
Violent criminals?
Violent criminals. Yeah. Very small.
Probably. Small, yeah, 4%.
4%. So these people they're hardworking people coming into the U.S. looking for opportunity and a better life, right?
Most of them, yes.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So these are great citizens coming from other countries. A majority of them are coming from, I would say, Mexico for sure, right?
Actually, no. I think we get a significant amount. I mean, it varies. I think one of the highest ones we got was Guatemala at one point.
If we're talking about the southern border, we would be talking about, Mexican immigrants.
You understand the southern border also is like Guatemala, Honduras. Like there's other places
Sure.
Well, I mean, he would be right as that probably would be the highest percent. Obviously,
okay.
Get them
So these are not hardened criminals that are coming here for a better opportunity. These would be people that would pay into the taxes. They would start families. They would start businesses. They could do all those good things, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
I love how we're on the same page now. So what you're doing, we're destabilizing countries by allowing over immigration because we're taking their citizens who can add to their economy, right? So when you're looking at it from the very beginning, when you guys ultimately are just looking
You're
at
almost right.
Yeah, no, this is a fact. You can look it up.
No, you're almost right. No, we have destabilized other countries, not by taking their immigrants, by destabilizing their actual governments. No. By destabilizing their governments and militarizing them. We have destabilized. Yeah, you're right, but you're not right on the point of taking their citizens.
So hang on. So taking in millions of immigrants from Guatemala, Mexico, Sinaloa, all these places, you would say that this is taking away from the value of their country, taking away from building their economy, new job growth.
How can they build that under a regime?
So why do we never have this conversation? It always
because that's not what's destabilizing them.
Wait a minute, I thought you guys were Democrats and you loved helping other countries. Okay.
How do they build?
Liam, you gotta let her talk. Liam, you gotta let her talk.
I was trying to finish my point, but go ahead.
I know, but I'm responding to your point. How do you build economy and wealth in a nation when we, as a nation, have destabilized their government and created regimes where they cannot be successful?
So what influence and what regime have we caused in Mexico right now? What is it that we've done?
Mexico is a thriving nation.
Oh, okay. So we're going to stick with Mexico because Doug already conceded we have a lot of immigrants coming.
Liam, it's not. Liam, shut the fuck up. Liam, this isn't your live to just grandstand. Shut the fuck up, Liam. All right? I know you want to try to take over the conversation. I know you want to try to make it your own live. Do your own live if this is what you want to do. Listen, man, it's not a concession. You're making it look like that you won something. It was an agreement upon a basic statistic, okay? Don't make it sound like you won something by saying it's a concession. That's ridiculous to do, and everybody sees past that. You can go ahead, but stop trying to make this your own live.
Yeah. I was just saying, Mexico's economic performance is demonstrating high success in manufacturing, exportation, and recent poverty reduction.
So can I say this? I will apologize, Doug. This is your live. I've been a little bit disingenuous, I would say. I've been pushy. It's just seeing Matt up here kind of over-talking people. The two of you up here, great. So I need to step back a little bit, push back, because I think there's a lot of stuff we're agreeing on here, for sure. So I don't need to be poking at you guys, okay? I think there's some stuff we can agree on. Can we agree that taking millions of immigrants is definitely not going to benefit these countries' economy? Can we at least agree on that?
That wouldn't benefit them? It may not necessarily benefit them, but I don't think it's destabilizing them.
So taking away from their workers, their economy, by taking the people who are not violent criminals, who pay into the tax system, who pay forth and all this stuff, right? Taking them over here as new citizens, you're saying it's benefiting the U.S. So how is it benefiting when we're taking those workers in?
But first of all, number one, we're not taking them. They're voluntarily coming here. It is their right as a human being.
No, we're allowing.
But we're not taking them. And it is their right as a human being to go where they want, right? We can't dictate where people go at least within the laws, right? So if they want to come here to have a better life, fine. But and if that somehow affects their country, if many of them do it, all right. But I think their own agency supersedes that.
Okay, well, if you have Generation X in Mexico, okay, march the Capitol and get the hell beat out of them because Claudia Sheinbaum is really not doing the job that she should be doing with the cartel. Okay, they're having a problem in that country, and they're going to flee from that from Mexico. Okay, for sure, we're seeing that happen. Now, that's not the U.S.'s problem to go, oh my gosh, you want to seek asylum? Yes, we'll take another million in, okay? That's not cool for their country, all right?
Can I ask you a question? Why is it that roughly 36 million Americans head to Mexico every year if it's such a horrible
Because
regime?
it's cheap, it's beautiful, okay, it's got a great history. There's a lot. I love Mexico.
I know.
love it.
I went there last year. I'm asking that question because you're making this claim that there's like this horrible cartel, which first of all, we acknowledge that the
Where
cartel
are you
exists.
going in Mexico? Sorry to cut you off. Where are you going in vacation? Come on, let's be honest. Puerto Vallarta, I've been to.
I went to what is it?
Tulum?
I went Tulum and Punta Cana.
Yeah, okay. You're partying with all the YT people. I get it. Okay.
I'm not, but what I'm saying is people are still willing to go into the country and also go into places that are not or more remote as well. My good friend actually has a house out in one of the more remote areas. I'm just saying and there's more and more American citizens moving to Mexico because of our current government. And even self-deporting because of our current government. So my question to you is, I don't think Mexico has quite the regime problem in regards to their government structure that, places like Honduras and Guatemala and Haiti and Ecuador.
Sure,
like
I would agree with you.
Okay, so there's other places in South America that are far more destabilized.
That's kind of a red herring thing where you're like jumping to. I'm just talking about Mexico right now
I'm explaining why they're leaving and coming here.
We border Mexico, okay. We have a lot of, we buy and trade from Mexico, okay. We should have a great working relationship with Mexico, and I do see that through Donald Trump's push with militarizing states because of crime. Definitely with ICE, over immigration, okay, all this stuff. I think that it's shined a light and hopefully a positive outcome that these other countries should try to take on the same policies of protecting their own nation and keeping their own people safe and thriving who are actually paying into the economy.
Nobody with a sound mind is looking at what we're doing with ICE specifically and saying and praising it and wanting to keep the only people that are praising it are authoritarian dictatorships that currently exist. So what you're saying is false. In fact, we've watched through polling and public discourse, his support, both as president and his immigration policy, is on the lowest it's ever been, even beyond his first term. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, I gotta read. Hold on. I gotta read a donation out loud real quick. Tammy, thank you for the 20 on the Blue Out with a V. I really appreciate you. W Tammy in the comments. She said they have no opportunities in their countries. That's why they are seeking a better life here. Liam is a moron. W Tammy,
wow, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Let's get rid of that. Guys, we are looking for opposition. And 100,000 likes will move to a new guest. Yeah, go ahead.
Dude, I don't think that I've brought up an ignorant argument. I think that this is honestly the conversation that should be had, okay, about over allowing immigration to flow into this country at a level that we're not able, because of judges, because of all the people that help out with this. I think that it's clogging up the system.
Hold on, but the legislation that was proposed was probably 2 years ago at this point, a year and a half ago, by Langford, offered to fix many of those things that you are now referring to that are slowing down.
The bill that Bernie Sanders shot down, the bill that Langford himself shot down.
Let's go through it. Hold on. That's irrelevant, and we can get to that. It offered more immigration judges. It offered more Border Patrol technology. It offered more Border Patrol agents. It offered a lot of things that would help speed up the process a lot quicker.
And also with a big cost.
Well, but hold on though. You can't have two things, right? So you got to pick one or the other. If you want these things to be fixed, it's going to cost money. I hate to break it to you, Liam, but you can't do something for free. It's going to cost money to fix these issues. But the Langford bill aimed to fix many of these things, and it wasn't Langford himself that specifically voted against it. They were all for it until Trump told them not to. All right, Trump said he wanted something to run on, So the bill was fine.
Well, it wasn't completely bipartisan. Okay, I know that.
Oh yes, it was very much so. Just because a couple were against it. Just because a couple were against it doesn't mean it's not bipartisan.
Langford himself said it was not bipartisan. Okay, he also
he
said
he did not.
He backed off after Trump came out and condemned it. That's
when he was on the floor and first time he spoke about the bill. First of all, he said that Kamala Harris said that I battled out this bill on the floor with Joe Biden. He said she's a damn liar. She was never even present for one conversation of the bill. Okay,
I don't care about
that.
I'm personal friends with the former staffer of Sinema, and I assure you, this bill was supported by Langford, Sinema, and Murphy, and they worked together as a collective to make this bill a reality.
I will say this. Hang on, one thing real quick.
Yeah,
I will say this, that if Biden, under his administration, if he would have actually sent 1,000 troops to the border and said, shut the hell up, Republican conservatives, especially under Donald Trump's big mouth, and sealed up the border and said, okay, we sealed up the border. Now we're going to work on, asylum, visas, work permit, all this stuff. He says, now we're going to clean it up so it's easier for immigrants to become citizens in this country. If he would have done it that way, we may have seen before they tried to pass the Langford bill, but they didn't give a shit about that, dude. What they wanted was to whine about it and literally do nothing about it. That was it. You can't throw a new bill out there without fixing the problem at hand. Okay, that's not how it works.
Okay, cool.
So an executive order needed to happen.
Okay.
Well, without an executive order, we saw a decline of immigration in 2024 from an average of 2.7 million to 1.3 million. So despite what your claims are, we actually saw a significant decline.
Why the hell am I in the background right now?
Because we're about to play your push-up contest against Good Trouble.
This is hysterical, dude. Freaking rent-free over here.
You're the one who lost the push-up contest. You don't want to see it?
This is.
Is this upsetting you?
I love this. This is great.
Is this upsetting you? Hey, Liam, who lost it?
This is great, man.
512 mark. Yeah. Here, let's get to it. Oh, wait, you guys can't see it, huh? Wait. There you go. All right.
Wow, what a political conversation,
here we go.
Everybody.
All right, it's about to play. Guys, we're looking for opposition. We'll get to a new one pretty soon. Click the red follow button on the top left. Follow Jess as well.
I'm just sad Good Trouble wasn't on a big screen too.
I know, right? He's up there in the top right a little bit. You can see it, but Liam, do you have a mattress on the floor? Your mattress is on the floor, Liam. Slowing down.
Wow, this is really important, people.
It is. It actually is. It's one of the most pressing issues going on right now. Liam, next time bring your arms in a little bit more narrow. They're too wide. You're stalling. You're stalling. All right.
Liam, you were a good sport. I'm going to give it to you. You were a good sport.
You were in that. You were there. You actually were a good sport over there.
Yeah.
What's with the mattress on the floor? What's with the mattress on the floor?
Dude, wait a minute.
So wait. Now he wants it going down all the way.
No, he was not. He was absolutely not. He was at the...
He literally was. His face hit the floor every time.
Do you want to do one right now?
Not doing full extensions.
Do you want to do one right now?
What, a push-up contest?
I'll go down all the way. I'll go up all the way.
I'm like actually sitting in my automobile, pulled over for a second because I don't want to drive and be on live. So I would have to get out and do it on the sidewalk right now in my neighborhood. I don't really want to do that right now, if you don't mind.
I think
cool? I can turn on my camera. I can turn on my camera and show you I'm not lying.
Well, that's a great place to do it on the sidewalk. Why not?
Come on, bro. Where do I set my phone?
I just want to be able to do a push-up contest and have zero excuses. You can rest it against the wheel of the car.
Dude. I'm not about winning all the push-up contests. I mean, I would do one with you, not right now, but I definitely would.
Okay.
How many do you think you could do, Doug?
I don't know. I haven't done.
Dude, at least I have the guts to put my money where my mouth is. Okay.
You paid him? Was that what it was?
I paid what?
What do you mean you put your money where your mouth is?
I mean,
you paid good trouble? Oh,
no, there was no.
Okay.
There was no bet for money. Okay, but what I'm saying, you can't bet on TikTok.
What did he win? What was the bet on your end?
I think his ego got more inflated. He wanted his ego to get larger.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so he definitely. But this is the thing.
So we're not going to do a push-up contest?
No excuses. Listen, that home that you're saying my mattress was on the ground, you're 100% right. That's two homes that I own on one property. That's the back house in Idaho. Okay.
So you have two homes, but you can't get a bed frame?
No, that's just one of the homes that I own that's not in California. Okay. So stop it. Okay. With this, I have my mattress BS on the ground. That place was brand new, remodeled. I was there finishing it up. I was chilling on the property. Yeah. And I had a mattress on the floor. That's not even where I reside. Okay. Why do I have to what are we doing right now? We're talking about immigration in our country. And now we're going to my life of push-ups. This is insane.
You should have done the push-up contest if you don't want people to talk about it.
Dude, I get that I'm rent-free and I'm very popular on TikTok. It's fine. No problem. I got it.
I got somebody that wants to talk to you. I'm sure.
I know you love her. Can I speak with...
Nice. She's nice.
Yeah, she's an American citizen, right?
How is that relevant?
In the political realms, yeah, she needs to shut her mouth when it comes to American politics. So I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to speak politics with her. Okay,
but she knows more about U.S. politics than you, who is an American-born citizen.
No, she's rent-free around me as well. So hi, Erica.
Okay.
Someone in the comment section has a bed frame for you if you need it, though. Just
that's very nice of them. I don't know why.
Yeah, I have a $10,000 bed in my house. Should I turn on my camera?
$10,000 bed.
And it's not even about politics, so that's interesting. I'm not even allowed to talk about bed frames on TikTok, so that's fun.
What do we talk about, Erica? The price of tea? What is it we talk about?
The price of tea.
Do you particularly like tea, Liam? Would you like to talk about the price of tea?
Yeah, I like a little spot of honey in my tea, darling. A little spot.
What? Liam, you really shouldn't do an Indian.
How many lumps do you like in your sweet tea, there, madam?
Is that supposed to be a British accent?
That is a really
I don't even know what that's supposed to be.
I have literally taken over this entire live. This is hysterical, man. The chat, the entire panel. This is great.
You're popular. I didn't even know who you were until this live. So
you didn't know who he was? Oh gosh, Jess. Yeah,
I did not know who Liam was.
He's pretty well known in these spaces.
I'm not online very much anymore. I'm kind of busy these days.
No, fair enough. That's fair.
Doug loves to use me to build his chat room for sure.
Wait, hold on, Liam. I've lost almost 200 people since you've been here. I was at near 700.
Watch this.
I was at near 700.
Hang on. I bet you there's no one in the chat that would give you $100 right now, guaranteed. No one that would gift you $100. There's no way. They're too cheap on your side, for sure.
Anyway,
what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yes, I didn't realise that you were you when I came up. I want to say congratulations. I haven't spoken to you since you were successful in your race. So
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you.
Going?
Yes. It's going really well. It's chaotic. Being a legislator in a 60-day session and we have over 2,700 bills to consider is wild. It's wild. But I personally have passed 10 bills out of full committee and 7 as of tomorrow out of the House. So they'll be headed to the Senate. 3 of them had a cognate, so they're actually officially passed and should be signed into law for the governor. But I introduced 14. 1 was tabled, 1 was incorporated in another bill. So I have my last one to introduce tomorrow morning in subcommittee. And then we have crossover next Monday. So it's good. Like, it's really busy, and some people may not know what the hell I'm saying right now. So sorry. But it's all good. No, I love it. I love it. Largest women majority in Virginia history, 42 women elected to the House of Delegates. We have more women than Republicans. No offense, Liam, but love that for us. We have 42 women and only 34 Republicans in the entire House. So,
hold on. Let me read a donation. Hold on, Erica wants to. Toby, thanks for the $1 on the Blue Out with a V. Thank you. It says, male, watch your mouth when speaking about Erica, you bed frameless cuck.
That's funny.
Doug, you should... Doug,
that was funny. That was really funny, though. That was funny.
I know, but listen, wait a minute. I think that if you're going to read off a comment like that, $20, okay? That's pathetic. You're
Liam,
cutting out there.
I mean, Liam, what you don't understand is...
Is it just me, or is he cutting out?
No, he is cutting out. What you don't understand is Doug is willing to insult you for no money, yet he's still getting money. So be quiet.
Hold on, I got one more to read. I'm sorry. One more to read. Kristen, thank you for the 10 on the Blue Out with a V. It says, thanks for dealing with these people. We can't pay you guys enough. Kristen, thank you. You're the best. W. Kristen in the comments. Go ahead, Erica. I'm sorry.
Erica,
I was just gonna say,
Erica, is there any way you can take the marbles out of your mouth when you're speaking English?
It's not all about you, Liam. Be quiet. Jess, because I know we've been on USMC Angry Veteran Matt's live together before, but
yes.
You were one of the first people I started following on here, right back from the tinfoil hat days.
Those were the days.
I know. And I, along with, I guess, a lot of people in here, have followed you through 2 elections. And I was so incredibly made up for you when you were successful. And I'm so proud that you didn't give up and you just kept going. So, it was a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Me too. It was very exciting. And I'm running right now, honestly. So, it's so funny. The day after I won, they're like, you understand you're running for 27 right now. And I'm like, I know, because it's an every 2-year election. So, but no, I mean, hoping to have a really successful session. And I've got quite a few budget amendments that I made ask for too for my locality. And I think a couple of them are going to come through. So hopefully I'll have some big wins come March to bring home.
Make sure everyone you give her a follow, okay? Toby, thank you for the $1 on the Blue Out with a V. Says the man without a bed frame and the poor push-up stance. Pocket watching. Male, you didn't even vote. Thank you, Toby. Toby.
I keep hearing this recently that he didn't vote.
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh wait, you didn't vote. You didn't vote, Liam?
Liam, did you not vote?
Wait, this is news to me. I read that out and it didn't even register. You didn't vote? Okay, well, that's a convenient time to. Well, I mean, if all these people are saying so.
It's not working.
Yeah, clearly.
Isn't it weird that someone would have so many political opinions, but wouldn't care enough to go out and actually vote in an election? That's bizarre.
Guys, we are looking for ops. Please, if you disagree with the prompt, you voted for Trump, etc., hit the request buttons. I don't know what's going on with old Liam over here. We got somebody else up over here. All right, he left.
He has no bed frame and no wife.
Hey, testimony. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Are you opposition?
Yep.
Okay, cool. How old are you?
40.
Okay. What's on your mind?
Well, I guess the common question is, why would I vote for Trump over the alternative that was presented to us, right?
Sure, and how do you think, well, yeah, I guess more to current day, how do you think he's doing?
Yeah, so when I look at his fairly recent trip, where he took Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent over to Davos, Switzerland, to talk at the World Economic Forum, I really appreciated what they had to say there, in response to really the folks that meet there every year. Are you familiar with the World Economic Forum and what they do?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Is this generally, when I hear people talk about, generally it goes in conspiracy routes. So I don't know where you're going to go with this.
Just a moment to get that tinfoil hat out. It might take a sec. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, I do think
I do still own two, so I can break mine out if needed.
Yeah, I do think it's intellectually lazy to immediately go there and to say that someone who brings up what is publicly broadcast on center stage at the World Economic Forum by really people that are in positions of authority and power throughout society, that would be a conspiracy theory. Like they do actually gather together every year and tell us what they want to do.
Okay, one quick second. Holy shit, Gabby! Thank you so much for the 100 on the blue out with a V. You are really the best, Gabby. Guys, everybody put W Gabby in the comments. Thank you. Oh wait, never mind. I wasn't supposed to read that. I'm not gonna read the comment. Sorry. Let's go ahead. Sorry, I should have read it first before I said that. But anyways, go ahead. But yeah, sure, W Gabby.
Yeah. So again, in general, Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent going over there with Trump, they both vocally opposed the positions that the World Economic Forum and its constituent components of sub-organizations seek to progress within society.
Can I ask you a really quick question? I'm just curious because you are highlighting the pros, the pros of Lutnick and Trump and Bessent. Do you believe in like the cabal thing that with like the whole QAnon stuff?
What are you referring to?
The horrific treatment of children to include cannibalization and assault.
Are you talking about what's recently being exposed in the Epstein files?
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, insofar as what I've seen in the Epstein files and the email exchanges that people have had and the code language that they use, it is very curious to me, and I think it bears further investigation. Don't you?
Oh, 100%. I mean, your president doesn't, so that's one thing. But two, Howard Lutnick was communicating with Epstein long beyond his official charge of having assaulted a literal child.
Yep.
And was having, so I'm just trying to figure out why we're praising Howard Lutnick when it sounds like you're cognizant of the fact that he quite literally had a relationship, a very personal relationship with a known child sex trafficker.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. If any of the evidence that is coming out or that is going to come out implicates and is something that we can prosecute and convict people on the basis of, then I think.
Well, I'm not even basing on that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that there are clear emails. I'm actually looking at the fact that Howard Lutnick has a vast database of, like, let's see, how many pages? Over 13 pages with 6 references on each page of him alone, of emails that had transpired between the two of them over years after he was criminally charged. So I'm just trying to figure out what you need evidence of to not prove that this man was a friend and affiliate of a known child trafficker.
Sure. What allegation are you making there?
I'm making the allegation that he had a clear relationship to the point that they were personally emailing and meeting after he was criminally charged for wrongdoing to a child.
Yeah. So again, my position is that if you have evidence that would suggest that we should prosecute someone for crimes against children,
I'm sorry.
We should do that.
When someone, let me ask you a question. Maybe it's me. If you know Joe Blow was criminally charged with horrific behavior with a minor, okay? And he got a slap on the wrist. Would you go out of your way, 4, 5, 6 years later to maintain a relationship and calling him and emailing him and, setting up meetings with him? Is that something that you would do? Or do you have enough sense to know that probably isn't a good look?
Yeah, fair enough. I can grant that to you. I would probably distance myself from that person, but I would also, for example, if I were to, for whatever reason, have some kind of connection that came out in the long run with that person, I wouldn't expect to be convicted if I actually didn't commit a crime. So what are you actually charging here?
I mean, they're having lunch together. Like you're sitting down, in my opinion, yes. If I sit down at a table full of schmotzies, if I sit down at a table full of schmotzies and I'm sharing a plate and a table with a table full of schmotzies, that would make you one. Like, that is my opinion. Why would you be returning phone calls and having a long-standing relationship from what I can see from 2011 to roughly 2013, 14, based on these emails with a known PE3DO,
Sure.
or P3DO.
Okay. Well, yes. Okay. So to that extent, then are we going to go to like IBM, for example, or Mercedes-Benz, which openly did business with the schmotzies during World War II? Are we going to go to them and arrest them and have them criminally prosecuted?
I would have the individual people that knew that and continued relationships with them. Yeah, absolutely. I think that you are supporting schmozziism. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge of that department to do that. I mean, and the fact that you don't think they should be criminally charged is a you problem, but no, I don't have any problem doing that.
The issue here is that you are actually making the case for someone being guilty by association. That's exactly what you just did.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Haven't the Republicans recently made a case in Congress that the Congress member for the U.S. Virgin Islands, I can't remember her name.
Yeah. I know
haven't they recently made the case in Congress that she should be censured because in the period before a congressional hearing into Jeffrey Epstein, she was texting with him. Haven't they recently made that claim that and this is the Republicans, that she should be censured because she was texting with him? So that sounds to me like the Republicans are making, and that's actually relevant, right? Because if you're going to have a congressional hearing about something, somebody then being in contact with them to ask them questions prior to a congressional hearing, that's actually relevant. Having an outside personal relationship with somebody for years and years and years and years is, that's very different. But are you typing?
No, that's me. Sorry. I was
sorry.
No, I was just looking up because I want to make sure I was right. Howard Lutnick is also the same man that in an interview pretty recently, boldface lied and said that he was neighbors. He lived 2 houses over from Epstein when they lived in New York. They shared the same building and they had one building between them. And quite literally said they were 7 steps from his door to Epstein's door. And that he was invited over one time and saw a massage table in the center of what was his dining room and literally was like, well, that's an odd placement. Do you get a lot of massages? He's like, I get the right kind of massages. And he said that him and his wife were completely creeped out and immediately left the home and said that they never spoke with him again. This was supposedly in, I believe, 2008, 2009. Yet he's literally got emails in these documents from 2012 making arrangements for him, his wife, another couple, and their 4 children that they went out of their way to document their ages in the email. We're going to come visit him in the Virgin Islands. So to me, that seems pretty damning when we talk about evidence, that you're going to do a recent interview making the claim that you met that man once in his apartment and was just like, gave you the ick. And you were like, we're never talking to him again. But then there's emails roughly 3 to 4 years later where you're not only talking to him, you're meeting up with him in the Virgin Islands with your young children that you've identified their ages of.
Do you think you're going to land a criminal conviction with that?
Sir, this is the court of public opinion right now because we have a current president that is quite literally, when asked point blank what he plans to do and why things are being redacted that shouldn't be, he said, we need to move on from this. So your president has no desire to investigate the reality of what happened in Epstein's wrongdoings. So right now, until we get a new president, we're kind of fucked in that department. I'm asking you in the court of public opinion why you're praising a man who has been found to boldface lie about his relationship with Epstein.
Sure. So correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Trump just sign the recent transparency bill that resulted in the latest tranche of information being released?
No, he did not recently sign that. He signed it over 30 days ago. He signed it over 6 weeks ago. Yeah. It was supposed to be released in 30 days. It's been 42 days. It was supposed to be released within 30 days of the signature. It has been over 45 days now. There is still more than 3 million pieces of evidence that now we are being told will not be released at all. We also have one of his main people saying they're not going to prosecute because it's not a crime to party with Epstein. And they've intentionally redacted the names of literal predators in this file. And Trump was asked point blank, what is going to happen with the victims of this crime? Why is this stuff redacted? He said, look, there was nothing about me in there, which is also false. So we need to just move on from this. This is in the past. We need to move on from this. What are you not getting about that? Have you not seen these interviews?
Yeah, I'm not sure which part of my previous statements you weren't listening to. But if there is evidence and we are going to prosecute people and we're
not, but they don't want to. That's the point.
The president is not prosecuting anybody.
Why is it that when you're speaking, I remain silent and I allow you to finish your statements, but you don't do the same?
Because you're not listening to me. The president just point blank told Caitlin Collins there was no there. Okay, we need to move on. We're not prosecuting.
Not allow me to respond.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm going to mute myself because you're
cool. I mean, I appreciate that because it should be a back and forth. Like if you're going to make a statement, you should allow the person to respond to you in kind. So again, my statements on this matter have been consistent. If you have evidence, if you have something that we can prosecute someone on the basis of, then let's do it. Like, let's go through. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Lutnick, anyone in the administration, past administrations. I don't care who it is. If you are guilty of harming children, in my opinion, I mean, I wish the laws were more severe and that you would be subjected to capital punishment.
Who is responsible? Who is responsible for prosecuting in this type of case?
Again, you're asking a question that is irrelevant to what I just said.
No, it is relevant.
You said you want it to happen. Not. You support the current administration. You are praising both Trump and Lutnick. I'm asking you who in this moment, with what we know to date, is responsible and capable of prosecuting the individuals within these documents.
So first of all, the basis on which I praised this administration was them going to Davos and the World Economic Forum and staunchly opposing the initiatives and agendas that they present. You then brought up the Epstein files and the investigations that are proceeding from that as like a complete irrelevant aside that
because I think what's happening at the World Economic Forum is bullshit, and I don't think that they're actually standing up against anything, and I actually think they're creating an environment that we are going to be put in danger as the United States, both with our allies and our enemies. So I don't really give a shit that you're praising two men that have demonstrable accusations and clear evidence of a relationship with the most grotesque human being that has ever walked the earth. And the fact that you sat here and said, if it's something's really bad, we should investigate, while simultaneously ignoring the only person capable of investigating is quite literally the man you're praising because he went against Davos. Quite literally, he's been in bed with every evil person in existence. He's in bed with Netanyahu.
So then by your logic, we just should all take the black pill and accelerate off the edge of a cliff because there's no, because frankly, the Democratic.
Well, you should definitely you should stop taking the red pill for sure, sir.
The Democratic
red pilling is definitely not working for you.
Viable. You cannot tell me that Kamala was actually presenting us with a viable alternative to Trump opposing.
Yes, she was. She was.
No, she wasn't, because she was going along with what's proposed at Davos.
Sir.
Hang on. What was... right, okay. What was... let's get into detail about what you were talking about. What was proposed at Davos that they were specifically concerned about?
Sure. Love to talk about it. So first and foremost, central bank digital currency, which is programmable, traceable, currency that will be linked to your personal identity in order to keep track of what you transact in a marketplace, right? What you buy and sell. This also has a downstream impact in the years as we're going towards really what many people feel is a technological singularity, where we are going to have some semblance of universal basic income, whether we like it or not.
Do you support that? Wait, do you support that?
I do, as long as there are protections in place that prevent it so that people who are identified as voices of dissent against the power structure that exists within the world and allowing for reform to take place, that those people shouldn't be excluded from...
Trump's literal quote here is, "This isn't the United States, this is for the world," Trump said during the ceremony. "Once the sport is completely formed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do, and we'll do it in conjunction with the United States nations." You understand that he is not going to give leeway to you to be able to do what you want, right? Like, you think that's what he's going to do?
Yeah. So again, this gets back to my previous response to you, which is then we're all taking the black pill and we might as well accelerate off the edge of the cliff.
Can we
Why do you keep saying that? Stop saying that.
Can we stop?
Well, because it's true. No, because the alternative wasn't any better.
Stop. Can we stop with like the red pill, black pill thing? We don't live in the Matrix. Okay, we need to stop using these analogies from a film that the people who invariably quote these red pill, black pill things, they don't even understand the premise of the movie. So stop doing that.
Well, okay, so first, I can use different language, Erica, if that would suit you better. The cynicism that Delegate was just sharing, right, that we should just Trump's going along with the plan anyway, just his brand of it, as opposed to what the World Economic Forum is proposing to us. So it doesn't matter because we're all going to get the same totalitarian system that I'm referring to.
Then what did he sign there?
There was nothing signed at Davos.
Yes, it was. President Trump signed the founding charter of his proposed
Board Peace Accord.
Board of Peace. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. The Board of Peace.
Okay, so we did sign something. So what does that do?
Yeah, I mean, it's the coalition initiative to basically do exactly what you're talking about, which yes, I can grant you the point where if that just ends up as flavor red, for example, of the same type of cynical, totalitarian, neo-feudalist approach that I'm referring to, then yeah, it's going to suck either way. But again,
so how did he push back against that? You're not, like you said, I'm really proud of him and Lutnick and Bessent for pushing back. How did they push back against anything you're making the claim of?
Because what they did speak out against is what's been proposed by the World Economic Forum and the people that actually go there.
Like right? What?
They have actually proposed an alternative. Well, national sovereignty is for one thing a big deal.
What?
I mean, the World Economic Forum, they actually want to see happen.
Stop. Donald Trump is no one to talk about national sovereignty at this point in the history of the world. The man who recently wanted to take over Greenland from
Denmark.
Oh, no, I know from Denmark, but Greenland has its own parliament and its own prime minister and wants to take that over and make it part of the US. And then secondly, who goes in, and by the way, I don't like Maduro, but I do believe that Venezuela has sovereignty, and sends in a bunch of people in the middle of the night to kidnap another country's president. He has no business talking about sovereignty. No business whatsoever, because he's not interested in anybody's sovereignty apart from the US's sovereignty.
And let's also talk about who is on the executive board of this new board of peace members. Like, do you even know who's on the executive board of this bullshit?
Yeah, so first of all, I would actually argue that the United States being responsible for protecting Greenland is justifiable. I also think that
they're not trying to protect it. They're trying to take it over. We already have a leverage of autonomy in Greenland.
And taking Maduro captive and apprehending him was justifiable.
No, yeah, but he left the existing regime in place. There was nothing.
They're still there. Hey, wait, but his VP, everybody's still there, so it effectively really didn't do anything, though.
Yeah, so he actually had a warrant for it, like it was all legal. Like you guys.
Do they live in the United States? Do they live in the United States?
No, obviously.
But no. How do United States warrants? No, how do United States warrants are able to be executed in another nation? Tell me how that works.
Well, correct. Through honestly, you want the real answer? It does. It does.
No,
actually
it doesn't.
It does.
If he was on U.S. soil, if he was on U.S. soil of his own volition, then we could enact a warrant. But he was not. We went and invaded another nation, a sovereign nation, and invoked a U.S. warrant that has no possible legality in their nation's borders to take him, and then you're justifying it. That is bullshit. Yeah. And again, they had warrants. Wait, they had warrants. No. They had warrants for the entire administration, and only took him, meaning they left every other leverage of power that supports the regime that already existed within those powers.
Right,
the secretary, the cabinet.
Not to mention, there's hold on, but there's also one for Netanyahu as well. Would you agree that we should go and?
Well, that's from the ICC rather than the United States, but which would mean which ironically would mean it would actually be legal to go and take Netanyahu.
Yeah. So why isn't Trump doing that?
Under international law.
Well, depending on which authority you recognize, yes. But that being said,
hang on. Who recognizes who? You tell me, apart from the U.S. government, who recognizes the U.S. government as an authority capable of making international law, apart from the U.S. government?
Yeah, I mean, nobody has to. That's not even.
No, that's false. That's okay. So what you're saying is now the U.S. has set a precedent where any country in the world now can issue warrants within their own country for somebody, and then they can go to another country and kidnap that person and bring them back to their own country.
Yeah. So
you think that's a good precedent to set? Wait, do you think that's a good precedent to set in an international world?
So fundamentally, pragmatically, I think it is realistically the precedents that we have. Because
no, it's not. There's no legal. There was no fair legality in that decision.
Or not? Why are you interrupting me?
Go
the
ahead.
Presidents that we have, the way the world operates is off of force. The capacity to make something happen is what actually makes things happen. It is called force doctrine. It is what actually effectuates change throughout the world. Now, you can argue with me that that's not morally the right thing to do, and we can argue on the basis of what you would prefer to see implemented in the world. But the fact of the matter is, what actually happens in this world, whether you like it or not, Erica,
you're one of those people. You're one of those people. You're one of those people. Be quiet. I'm fed up of listening to you. You're one of
Why
those
is she
people,
interrupting me?
Listen, you can't just talk for minutes on end and get annoyed when people interrupt you.
I wasn't talking for minutes on end. I was explaining my position.
No,
you think might makes right, and it does.
Oh, I didn't mute Jess, but
I
did
mute
him.
Oh, I didn't mute Jess. No, I muted Tess.
Your position is disgusting, because your position is basically strong people or strong countries can just dominate all the weaker countries, and that's just how it is, guys. I just want to let you know that hasn't worked out well in the course of human history. It has never worked out well when the strong countries have just taken what they want. My country was the strongest country in the world for a good, 400 years, something around there. It did not eventually work out well for us. It might have been great for the country during the period of time. I thoroughly despise the history of my nation, but it might have worked out well during that time. But when it finally breaks down, it breaks down in a huge way, and it leaves you it leaves you incapable of looking after yourselves, which I genuinely feel is the position that my country has been in since the 1960s, of trying to find another way now that we're not the most powerful people in the world. And this whole thing of we can do whatever, because all you're saying, what you're basically saying is legality doesn't matter. The will of the people of anywhere doesn't matter. It's all about what the strong can do to the weak, and that is never a good stance to have, ever.
Real quick, hold on, real quick. I got to do my announcements real quick. Hey, everyone, if you're enjoying the live, click the red follow button on the top left. Absolutely give Jess and Erica a follow. Show them some support if you can via guest or if they have pay links. My pay links are in my bio. If you guys can show support while it's not needed, I do appreciate it. I'm also streaming on the tube right now, so if you guys can sub to me over there, it's Dougielifts, and if you have a second device and watch me over there, that would be great as well. We're looking for opposition, guys. Right now, we're at, what, 127? 150, we can get to a new guest. We don't have anyone currently in the box, but if you do disagree with the background problem, come on up. All right, guest, go ahead.
Yeah, so, Erica, I want to be very clear, because honestly, in large part, I agree with the moral stance that you're outlining there, right? That may not be the way the world should work, but descriptively, it is actually the way the world works. Whether we like it or not, the world is governed by who has the monopoly on force. Because, like right now, the world is actually governed in pretty much a unipolar fashion, where the United States is kind of like the top dog and calls the shots. And yes, we do have competition from China and other nations that are emerging, right? But it still very much is that the United States, largely due to our naval and air force power, have the ability to dictate what happens all across the world, because militarily we have the might.
You're right. If we do, then why don't we just not do that then? If we set the stage for everybody else, as what you were saying, why don't we just not do that then?
Well, again, I actually think it's an appeal to our own better nature throughout history. Like, the reason why we haven't steamrolled every other culture and just imposed our will on everyone is because we actually have taken this very ecumenical view towards the rest of the world, in saying, like, yeah, you can live the way you live in your nations, but we're going to do what we do.
Well, not really, though.
My problem with it... I have a problem with this argument though, because you highlighted our like military force, specifically like our naval force, ignoring the fact that our naval force is only as strong and intelligent as it is because of our allies. And if we start overreaching with our political power, the way we are, say, with the Maduro enacting a U.S. warrant in sovereign nations that we have no jurisdiction, then you're really telling our allies that we are not ones to be trusted. And the only reason, again, that we have the intelligence and the might that you keep referencing is because of those allyships. Like, for example, our allyship with Australia and the fact that most of our intelligence and the monitoring off of the Russia border is from them, not from us, is a prime example of the fact that we have intelligence that if we start proving that we cannot be trusted as a nation, we could lose and be at a deficit. Like, I think people forget that we are only as strong as we are since World War I, and our response and our negative response after World War I and isolationism and proving that was a poor decision. And then World War II, us getting involved and making the conscious decision moving forward to have strong allyships that we use for more than just might. So I think that there's this element that you're failing to keep in mind when you make that decision.
That's fair. No, I do believe what you just said was fair, okay? Because there is value in military alliances and shared resources and strategic bonds that we have with other countries. So I totally get where you're coming from with that statement. And I don't think that we should just snub our allies and make bad relations out of them. And so insofar as that is happening around the world, you're right to be critical. Right? If that is something that we see this administration doing or any other, right? But I would also say that it's not a good idea for us to be beholden or dependent to other countries just because they offer an alliance to us. Like, we should be self-sufficient as well.
But nobody's asking you to be beholden or reliant on any other countries. And you yourself said
that's not true.
This is my problem with what you said. You said, I know your answer when I spoke to you was, I know morally this is questionable. However, it is the way it is. My argument with that is, if we don't all individually have morals that we stand up for, and those morals are that we don't want the people that have all the power to subjugate and tread on the people that don't have the power, we might as well just give up now. We might as well just start calling ourselves plebs again, and letting the lords of the manor order us round, making us do whatever they want to do whenever they want us to do it. I maybe naively, I didn't think that was the world that we lived in anymore. I thought that we as human beings had the power to make the decisions about what goes on in our governments, and not let our governments ride roughshod over the will of the people. And yet, seemingly, you're quite happy to let your government ride roughshod not only over the people of your own country, but also over the people of the rest of the world. And I'm going to be honest with you, my morals find that appalling. And if your morals don't find it appalling, I'm concerned about you.
I also want to follow up with the beholden statement. We have a mutual agreement and a mutual understanding. It is not a beholding. And again, it was clear, like glaringly clear after World War I, that isolationism was the most dangerous thing we could have ever done. It put us at a deficit on the global stage on so many fronts, economically. I mean, the depression, there's just so many factors of isolation being provenly not a benefit to the United States. And I think the destabilization of our relationships with allies, because we can't be trusted, because of the overreach that our current president has already enacted over the last year and some change, that is not benefiting us on the global stage. Might does not make right. And that is going to be proven. And in fact, we are likely going to be forced into another war in the very near future with Iran because of the incompetence of our current leader.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not necessarily saying might makes right. What I'm saying is that the ability for a nation to enact what it so chooses to do is based on its capacity to do it. Right? So like that can come down to like might makes right, but to me there's a moral assessment, right? When you're saying might makes right, that means that you think that whatever might does is good. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that a nation gets what it wants by virtue of the fact that it has the capacity to execute that desire. Does that make sense? But that doesn't necessarily make it the right thing to do. And so if we're corrupting,
but again, it still falls into the might makes right. Like you're still describing a might makes right situation. I mean, whether you want to try to redefine it, that's what is happening.
I think that's insufficiently nuanced, honestly, because I just offered you a distinction there where there can be a difference between might makes right versus just doing things because it's something you're able to do. So again, if we are disrupting the relationships that we have that are advantageous and reciprocal and not imbalanced with other nations, then I think that's something that you should rightfully criticize.
Hang on, what does imbalanced mean?
Well, again, there's a number of ways that you could look at it.
Right, because other nations are always going to be you've already pointed out the United States is the most powerful nation in the world, with the world's biggest military and the world's largest amount of money. Now, if that means that every negotiation with every other country is always going to be imbalanced from the perspective of the other country, because and if you want, well, I think it's okay if the US has the balance. You always have the balance. You might not have the monetary balance of that relationship, but you always have the power balance. And the reason you don't always have the monetary balance of that is because you're a consumer nation. You consume more than anybody else in the world consumes. And you don't have the capacity, even if you bought as much back to the US as you possibly can, without increasing your population substantially to meet that demand. You don't have the ability to service all of your own needs. You just don't. You don't have enough people.
Well, the one thing that we do make more of
at the end of Joe Biden.
Hold on.
At the end of Joe Biden's administration, there were 7.9 million job openings in the US that they could not fill. 7.9 million. That was when you had all the migrants that prior to being deported by Trump. So if you add into that number, if you add on to 7.9 million job openings you had, all the job openings that you're now going to have due to things like service sector and agriculture workers who have been deported, you're going to need to substantially increase your population in order to service your own needs. You don't have the population to do it.
David did pay to kick them, so see you, I guess. David, thank you, guys. David in the comments. I really appreciate it. It says, idea for Super Bowl Sunday, bring back the backwards cap. David, I wore that for like 2 lives. Wear a whistle around your neck and change your handle to Coach Doug. This is strictly to help the lives and has nothing to do with my own personal preferences. David, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Guys, we are looking for opposition, okay? Anybody that disagrees with the prompt, if you voted for Trump, anything like that. Oh gosh, we have John in the comments, or in the box, Erica.
Is John the only person in the box?
He is the only one in the box.
I'll tell you what, let Jess talk to John. Jess might enjoy John.
Jess, do you know John Stone?
I don't want to talk to John.
I don't know. I mean, these people I do not know.
All right, he's another doozy.
I mean, I'm happy to...
Yeah, he's another doozy. I'll bring him up. Guys, if you're enjoying the live up until this...
Before you bring him up, can I get everyone get your bingo cards ready? So this is what's going to happen while John is up here, okay? First of all, he's going to say, this is all my own opinion, so you can't ask him to bring a source. You can't bring any sources because it's all his own opinion. Secondly, he will definitely mention the Frankfurt School, postmodernism, Foucault, and recently added to the list, Freud. Okay, so if you can all get your bingo cards filled out with those things now, okay, just write yourself a bingo card. Okay,
this sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will really be. It will be.
So you can write yourself a bingo card now. I'll just listen and watch out for any.
We'll see how it goes.
In the comments. Okay?
All right, and just give everybody a heads up. It's 2:42 right now, at least on the East Coast. I do have to train a client at the gym at 3:30, and it's about 15 minutes away, so I have to leave in about 30 minutes. So I have 30 minutes left. Just to give you guys a heads up, just to set expectations here. But if you guys are enjoying the live, make sure you click the red follow button on the top left. Absolutely follow Jess, Erica. Show them some support if you can via gifts, pay links. My pay links are in my bio. Same deal. I will read your question or comment out loud to the chat though, and make sure you guys follow me on the tube. Yeah.
Also, Jess, while he's up here and while you're listening to him talking, do go take a look at his videos. They are.
Oh, they're funny. They're funny.
They're genius.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And guys, help us reach the gift goal.
Not an accurate statement. But
John, where did you go? Oh wait, there you are. All right. Hello, John. Hello, John.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Great. What's up?
Yeah, this is all my personal opinion. That's correct. See, that's just a legal thing. That's the only reason I say it.
Nothing. Nobody's gonna go after you, man. But go ahead.
Well, no, okay. But look, I think the political left is crazy. That's my problem with. I actually used to be a Democrat 20 years ago. I voted for John Kerry.
Why is that always the story? Like, I used to be a Democrat. I used to be a Republican, fun fact, and now I'm not. So, yeah. I mean, I guess we can all say that.
Well, I'm pro-choice.
But not much has changed within the Democrat Party, really. I mean, there's maybe some things you don't like. I understand you don't like trans people. I get it. But, like, beyond that being, like, a newer topic to speak on, even though they've existed for as long as humans have existed.
Eons.
What else has really effectively changed?
Can I just say something to that point, Doug? Can I just say something to that? What policy have Democrats pushed that has been pro-trans policy? Because I can tell you tons of policy that's been pushed by the right that is anti-trans policy to try to eradicate their existence. But what policy has been pushed that is technically pro-trans policy that you're against, that you think the Democrats are like demonstrably, trying to go against your belief system on?
Trans women in sports with biological women. I think it's insanity.
So what's the policy, though?
Show me where's the policy that did that?
Well, it would be that they can participate in
that's always been an industry or state decision that has never been. There's actually never been policy per se outside of like policy within the athletics. Like, so for example, the Olympic sports have always had policy in place that they have to meet certain criteria. They have to be on their hormones or testosterone for a certain amount of time. They have to meet a certain metric with their medical, whatever. So like, I'm talking about legislative policy because you're blaming on the party. And I'm just pointing out that the party hasn't actually done anything.
Well, certainly the left would be the ones in favor of that as opposed to the right.
But the left is different than you can't use those interchangeably. The left is not the same thing as Democrats.
Okay, go ahead.
But I would like for you to answer her question, because I think that's a very good question. What policy by Democrats has caused that thing that you don't like about trans people playing in certain sports or certain aspects of sports that you don't like?
Well, my understanding is that it's from it has to do with Title IX, doesn't it?
Nope. Those policies all existed before Title IX was ever.
No Democratic politicians favor trans women and women in biological.
That wasn't the question.
So let me be very clear. That wasn't what I said. I said that what piece of legislation are you trying to say has changed the rules around the existence of trans people put forth by Dems? And the reality is there hasn't been any, because when it comes to particularly trans athletes in sports, there's always been policy that has been put at the state level and within VHSL with our local state athletics, with college sports, with Olympics, with professional. They always have had their own stipulation and guidance in place that they've used, like medical direction and actual guidance from the experts in those fields versus legislation. So you're getting. I always think it's funny when Republicans try to say the Dems are crazy because of this, but they can't actually point to any legislation that's been introduced by a Democratic politician.
If you really want me to pull up some legislation, I can probably do that. But I would. Okay.
No, I was just saying yeah. I'm not interrupting, John. I'm not interrupting. I just said yeah.
While John is being quiet and putting up legislation, I just want to let you all know somebody saying this is all my own personal opinion doesn't stop them from being litigated. Because if, for example, John was to say, in my personal opinion, Doug does this bad stuff outside of TikTok, whatever that bad stuff might be, Doug can still sue him. So saying this is just my personal opinion does not prevent litigation. So that's a bullshit reason why John says it. Thank you.
Oh no, I disagree.
Well, that's not how.
Sorry, John, you're getting evidence. Be quiet. Get evidence.
Yeah, just
very
get.
Friendly for a British are usually
Okay.
polite.
Well, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, just get the evidence.
Have you met Piers Morgan?
I like Piers.
Say it.
A little ornery.
He's not polite though. He's not polite.
Nah, not really.
Neither is Ricky Gervais. Like, there's so many great Englishmen who are just not polite.
British people are actually, John, get the evidence and quit yapping. British people are actually famously impolite. Like, not quite. We don't have quite the same level of like perceived impoliteness as like the French, for example. But we're perceived as being like cold and unemotional and, perfunctory and direct. And those things are kind of the opposite of being polite.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for helping reach the gift goal, by the way. Thank you so much. I just set up a new one, but thanks, guys. No, go ahead. What do you got?
Simon from American Idol. House passes bill restricting transgender athletes from women's January 14th of 2025. House bill, okay.
Okay, well that wasn't
so the right is trying to pass laws to stop it.
We know the right.
That's literally what I said. I said the right has done nothing but push forth anti-trans policy, trying to create government overreach. But what I'm asking you is, what is the intent or purpose behind that policy to even exist when there's been no policy introduced by the left that has insinuated that they are trying to do create I'm not understanding why the right is making policy against something that quite honestly isn't a problem.
Right, and to Jess's point, I do want to say that I speak with a lot of trans people here doing these live streams when I talk about the LGBT plus topic, and all of them, and I really mean all of them, very much dislike the Democrats for not pushing for them enough, right? Especially when it came to Kamala, right? A lot of them were very upset that she didn't do anything to help them out. She never spoke about trans people or anything like that. And Democrats in general, they are very upset by that. So to them with this issue, and I would say with many issues, Democrats aren't far left enough, right? So you got to stop equating the left with Democrats, because there's actually a very small overlap there, I would say. But we still want that piece of legislation that you're looking for.
Okay, look, obviously if the right is passing things to stop it, then the left would be in favor of it. Are we in disagreement on that?
No.
Yes, we are in disagreement.
Yeah. What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're advocating for the right pushing policy that is unnecessary. So if I told you, I live in a population of 1 million people, and one person is continuously not taking their trash up out of the 1 million people. Everybody else is doing it. And I make a law be like, you're going to be fined $1,000 if you leave your trash at the street because I'm trying to attack a singular person that I disagree with. That is bad policy because you're not actually solving a problem. You're just trying to create one.
Look, all I'm trying to tell you is that if you really believe that trans women should be in MMA matches with biological women, I think you're crazy. Literally crazy.
That's literally not what any of us in this room have said. I was just pointing out. Oh my God.
John, we're not even there yet. We got to this because you said you used to be a Democrat, insinuating they're doing things that you don't like. You have yet to give an example of something related to this topic that they have proposed, even at the very least proposed, that you don't like. But can you find any legislation that has gone into effect?
Dude, I don't. I just told you. I said I can give you. Do you want the trans fighters that I'm talking about?
No, legislation.
John, what we want is the legislation that has been brought and passed by Democrats, okay, to change things or allow things that weren't previously allowed. And all you've brought us is legislation brought by Republicans.
To stop it.
But
because it's stop something that's not happening is my problem,
Stop
sir.
something that's
You're
not
trying to fix a literal non-existent problem.
How could it be non-existent if Riley Gaines is having to swim against
Riley Gaines, sir, Riley Gaines placed fifth. She tied for fifth. She didn't even podium. She quite literally won all like barely nothing. Riley Gaines is a sore loser who has gotten massive grifting and funding and even national recognition for being fifth place. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for Riley Gaines. And the fact that you bought into her bullshit is depressing.
Leah Thomas. How about Leah Thomas?
Leah Thomas did not. She placed fifth and tied with Riley Gaines. They placed fifth.
So but this is the whole point. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is why I think you're crazy.
So what I'm trying to tell you is 4 biological females, women, beat Leah Thomas and Riley Gaines. And Riley Gaines tied. So what I'm telling you is clearly there's not a problem with trans athletes dominating the sports because they wouldn't have placed fifth, they would have placed first.
Correct.
You mentioned Piers Morgan, okay? He actually said
okay, so we're going to pivot? Okay, got
it.
John, you do this often. John, you do. I know you're upset. You do this often. Every time you're cornered, you just go to a new thing. You still haven't provided legislation by Democrats. You still haven't responded to what she said. You're just pivoting and get away from it, John. Is it that difficult to concede on one thing? Is it possible that you're wrong on this topic, or any topic for that matter?
I'm not wrong on this, Doug. And if you just let me finish the sentence, Piers Morgan made a claim saying something like about 900 medals have been taken from biological women.
So prove it. So Piers Morgan's not a source. Prove it. Piers Morgan is not a source.
Piers Morgan, also biological women's not a freaking phrase. It just means a woman who's alive. That's all that means. Stop using weird phrases that have no real meaning.
Look,
I know it's upsetting. I know. This is why what, man? This is why what? You have yet to offer anything in relation to your opinion. You haven't offered shit, man.
That I'm telling you that trans women should not be in MMA fights with biological women.
But that has nothing. Okay, that has nothing to do with Democrats, though. It has nothing to do with Democrats, right? Whether you vote for them or not, that has nothing to do with what they're proposing. Again, they don't really mention trans people at all.
And let's remember,
don't mention it because they know how fucking.
Let's remember the MMA.
So that has nothing to do with them.
The MMA space is obviously notoriously left wing. Notoriously left wing. The MMA space, not at all conservative. So if that is being allowed, and I have no idea whether it is or not, it's it's right wing as fucking hell. The like MMA as a sport. What the hell?
Just so we all know, that report of the 900 medals, that is not an actual legitimate report. It was submitted by a third party named Reem Asalim, a special rapporteur, an independent expert who advises his assembly. This has no relevance in an actual data point. And even his claim was 890 medals over 400 different competitions over the decades long of actual sports. And again, there's no cited claim of where he's even getting this number that's tangible. So yes, when Piers Morgan says things on the internet, you should not just automatically believe it. You should take 5 seconds to do the bare minimum research.
Right. Do you see how she just did research to verify things and you never do, John? You never verify things. Ever.
Dude, we play this. Elena McLaughlin and Fallon Fox are the trans women MMA fighters, okay? Those two.
Cool,
specifically.
John.
Right,
so
again,
I'm making
John,
that up too.
John, MMA, a sport ruled and governed by people who are on the left wing or the right wing?
MMA would be more on the right.
Right. So it's people like what you're telling us that it's Democrats and the left that are pushing this, and yet you've potentially picked the most, like, the sport that has the most right-wing kind of management and the most right-wing
fan base,
people involved in its organization. So your argument about who is doing this is getting you into trouble.
It's not. This is why I think y'all are crazy.
You can keep saying that, John, but again, you didn't respond to what she said. If they're a right-leaning sport, right, that attracts fans that happen to be conservative, they have people that are involved in it that happen to be conservative, then that doesn't go towards your point.
Look, to me, it's very obvious that if you just look, who is pushing this trans agenda more? Is it the left or the right? Just answer me that. Very simple question.
The right is pushing the trans agenda more. I would say yes. That's all you guys ever talk about. Trump spent 250. Let me finish, John. John, you're simply just another victim of propaganda from the right. That's all you are. You're just another puzzle for them. That's it. That's all. That's all they matter to you, or the other way around. That's all they matter to them, right? So, listen again, man. They're not. They're the ones who keep bringing it up. Democrats are not bringing it up. People on the right constantly are. Trump spent $250 million to talk about them for months on ends, really for a year plus on end, right? With anti-trans propaganda. Kamala Harris didn't spend any money on pro-trans propaganda, so I don't know what it is you're offering. Every single time I have a guest come on up, now I won't say every single time, but most of the time they offer the trans topic when it's not even the topic at all, right? That seems to be all you guys ever think about. It's only people on the right who bring it up. People on the left don't bring it up, really.
We talk about it because this is why we think you're crazy.
Okay, but again, it's not based on anything. It's not based in anything at all.
I'm going to tell you, John, why I think you're crazy.
Go ahead, please.
Well,
yes,
there's so many reasons.
Sure.
But for you specifically. But yeah. I'm going to tell you why we think that you're crazy, that you keep bringing this up, okay? You have an actual president of your country who you voted for, who has bragged about being in girls' changing rooms and seeing them with no clothes on, right? But then you and others like you will come up on panels saying, we don't want men in girls' bathrooms because they're predators. And you've voted for somebody who literally brags about it. So you don't care if there are men in girls' bathrooms, as long as they're men that you like and that you respect and that you agree with. What you don't want is, what you specifically don't want is in your mind, men. I would disagree with you on that, but men that you haven't pre-approved to go into girls' dressing rooms. Going into girls' dressing rooms and girls' bathrooms, but you don't complain. I've never heard you once say, I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump again because he's done that. You've never done that. You praise him for bringing policy and executive orders against trans people without acknowledging the fact that he himself has done exactly the thing that he is bringing policy against. And that to me is hypocrisy at its finest.
Look, he took a tour, I guess 30 years ago when he was the owner of the pageant. I'm not saying it's his finest moment, but look, just because.
Hey, can I ask John? Wait, John, can I ask you a question? Wait, can I ask you a quick question? What if you could pass any law at all when it comes to, let's say, like the bathroom situation? What would your law look like?
In all honesty, it's a tricky situation because women who were born women and became men who have full beards, I don't know if they should be going into the women's bathroom.
So answer a question. What law?
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah. What law would you pass, since you seem to think that the left is just, demonstrably awful because they're not putting forth policy that you think addresses this issue? So I'm asking you what your law would look like.
I guess it would be don't ask, don't tell. I guess.
Okay. So you don't have a law.
Wait,
so you don't have a law because that's pretty much kind of the status quo now, right?
Right. That's what we would want. Just use the restroom. Stop worrying about who the fuck is next to you.
Go pee.
And
do
go
your
on
business.
with your life.
Wash your hands, please.
Yes.
Yeah, and walk out.
Just go on with your life. And I hate to break it to you, SA is SA anywhere, whether it's a trans person to a cis person to a trans person, whether it's whatever it is, like that's still illegal.
It's already illegal.
Right? Yeah.
This whole thing,
Can I point out, don't ask, don't tell is literally, John, don't ask, don't tell is literally what we have now in bathrooms. It's what we've had. It's what we've had for the entire, I mean, I'm 47. It's what we've had for the entirety of my life has been don't ask, don't tell in bathrooms. Literally the whole time.
Yeah. And hasn't it always been the case that like whenever we hear about an assault in a restroom or a locker room, it's typically been a cis hetero man being a cis hetero man?
Mm-hmm. And this actually targets cis women because there's many times, and there's examples of this, where cis women are being harmed because they some men are thinking that they're trans or something like that, right? So this also, and you guys seem to care about cis women, at least so you claim, but this also harms them as well. So it's always cis men doing it, man. It's never trans people.
Did you see what was it, approximately a couple months ago in LA at I think it was the Gold's Gym, where the black woman, I think she got really upset that there was a trans woman in the bath. So you disagree with her? I mean, I understand her point of view. I understand why she's upset.
Yes, I disagree with her. I think that she overreacted and made a mountain out of a molehill when nothing was actually happening.
Yeah, let's use your don't ask, don't tell policy. She should just use her restroom and stop worrying about it.
Well, this is why I'm a bit conflicted about the don't ask, don't tell policy. But on the other hand, we can't have women with beards in the women's room either, right?
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
I know women with mustaches that are legitimate female, present as women who just don't shave their stuff.
I'm saying that a trans man who was born a woman became a man and has a full beard. If they go into the woman's bath, look, I'm just trying to make women not feel uncomfortable.
I don't know you are not. No, you are not.
John, hang on.
We used to try to not make white people feel uncomfortable by banning like literal black people for everything. Like, I'm sorry, but like I don't understand. Like, I'm worried about people's safety, not their comfort. And my thing is, there is no evidence to show that trans people entering bathrooms is a safety issue. And so that's where I'm struggling with the line of like, what does the law look like that you guys keep thinking is going to magically fix whatever like no problem, the problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and I just want to say, John, if your intention is for men not to make women uncomfortable, you should probably stop coming on the internet, because I was thinking in my mind when you said, I'm just trying to make women not feel uncomfortable, half the people in the comments had this very same thought that I had in my head, which was stop going on TikTok panels because you do. Just your presence makes us all feel uncomfortable, John.
Just because I annihilate your worldview. It's because
you don't, John.
Why you always have to interrupt me?
John, you have never annihilated anything.
Oh, I absolutely have. Your best defense of you're trying to tell me that the right is making an issue of the trans issue. It's because the left is crazy. It's because of what I told you about trans women in MMA matches with.
Okay, so John, basically what you just said is that your feelings are, when we've already pointed out to you, and you've already found by going to look at it yourself, that there is no policy or legislation from the left on this. There is no policy or legislation. All of the policy that you have found and that you are going to be able to find is from the right. And yet you are not believing the evidence of your own eyes that all of the policy that you can find on this is from the right. And for some reason you're calling us crazy when we pointed out to you that you won't be able to find any evidence of any bills or legislation brought from the left. But you still won't believe the evidence that your own eyes are presenting you with, which is wild. And then instead of saying, oh, you know what, I'm actually wrong, you're right, it is the right bringing all of this legislation. Instead, you just go to, well, you're all crazy. Despite the fact...
California, wait a minute here. California...
Despite the fact, by the way, that all of the world's major medical
institutions... What's the legislation?
We're talking about federal legislation, John, But anyway, despite all of the world's major medical and psychological institutions being in agreement that trans women are women, still you're just going with your feelings, which is nice. It's cute.
Okay. Again, in California, I think there is legislation specifically about trans that have been put forward
What is
by
it?
Democrats. Huh?
What is it?
Well,
What is it?
He's not going to give it. He's not going to give it.
Schools can't. Wait a minute. Where the schools can't ask or can't tell the parents how their child is identifying.
False.
That
is
is not
false.
it.
What is that one?
Yep, that's not a real law.
It's not.
Nope.
Okay.
First of all, you're not even characterizing it correctly. It's not that they can't. It's just that they don't legally have to. They can if they want.
And by the way, I'm going to say this as an educator. In most places, there are already safeguarding rules in place that if a kid tells you anything which might put them in danger at home, it's not the parents that you tell, it's social services that you tell.
Correct. Right. Which is basically what this law reinforces.
Yeah. So that that would be exact. If a child came to me and said something, if they said they were being hurt at home, I don't phone up their parents and say, your child's telling me that you're hurting them at home. What I do is I speak to the person that manages safeguarding in my institution, and together we make a decision about who we go to in that situation. And more often than not, it would be social services. In some instances, it might be social services and the police, right? Depending on what, like, so for example, if it's FGM, FGM, we have to, is mandatory that we report that directly to the police and not social services first, because of the nature of it. But if a child came to me and made it's called a disclosure, made a disclosure to me that they were trans and their parents had spoken badly or even violently about trans people, and they were concerned about their home life, my response, I should not phone the parents about that, because that then potentially puts the child in danger. Right. I consult with the people who are specialists in safeguarding in my institution, and together we make the decision that we should call social services, because that is about keeping children safe.
Right. Hold on. Number one, guys, I have like 5 minutes left. Okay, I got to give everybody a heads up. 5 minutes left. Secondly, Justin, thank you for the 20 on the app that starts with a P. Sorry, I'm just seeing this. I really appreciate you, Justin. Go ahead, man.
Okay, let me read this to you. This week on the Ezra Klein Show, a podcast hosted by the New York Times, California Governor Gavin Newsom said he's signed more pro-transgender bills into law than any governor.
Great. Can you tell me the bill number? Because I'm looking at AB 1955, which is Support Academic Futures and Educators for Today's Youth Safety Act, which basically prohibits California school districts from enforcing policies that require staff to disclose students' transgender status if the student has personally requested not to have it disclosed, meaning that there may be questionable concerns around their safety, and which is why they may not want it to disclose their parents. You are aware of the fact that there are parents out there that demonstratively hate people who are of the LGBTQ community, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, look, you asked me for what Democratic politicians. I just said Gavin Newsom.
Right. Do you disagree with that policy to keep children safe?
Look, you're
just answer the question.
No. Do you agree with that policy in order to protect children from the possible abuse or harm of their own parents? Yes or no?
Just repeat it for me. Can you
basically the law prohibits a student from being forced out to their parents against their wishes. So in other words, if a student comes to a trusted staff member and says, I'm gay or I'm trans or whatever, and they say, but I'm really unsure, like I feel like I'm not safe with my parents, they can create protocol to try to figure out how to mitigate with counseling and things to get that student to maybe come out to their parents or figure out if there's a safety reason. That's all the law is saying. That's making sure that that kid is not forced to be outed to their parents when they have either fear of retaliation or they need counseling to kind of get to that point where they feel comfortable speaking with them.
I think their parents have a right to know. Now, if it needs to be done in an environment where if they truly feel, look, if they just say they feel unsafe, then anybody could say that just as a way around it.
Well, no, I mean the kid, if the kid wants to tell them, they can, right? But if they're scared of their parents for whatever reason, that shouldn't be forced upon them. I would hope you would agree with that, John. I would hope so. Listen, just think about a kid that is in fear of their parents for whatever reason in regards to that, and they don't want to tell them that they're gay, trans, bi, whatever the case might be. Why should they be forced to know? Knowing that kid is scared, knowing there's a potential of them being harmed.
Okay, parents have...
I'd hope you would agree. I would hope you would agree. Assuming you care about kids. Or just humans in general, really.
Dude,
I just want to say
is corrupting children.
Okay, that's not a proper response, John. John,
right.
this is yet another example of you being cornered into something where you're too afraid to fucking answer, where you're too goddamn afraid to answer it, so you try to shift it to something else. You do this every goddamn time, John.
The way you're framing it is
yeah, the way I'm framing it the way that I'm framing it the way it is, and you don't like it, and you can't answer it because it's going to cause you to concede on the thing, and you don't want to because you don't want to have to learn new things. You don't want to have to admit that you're wrong. You never want to.
This is what the left does. The left.
You're doing it again in real time. You're doing it in real time. You're interrupting. I know I am. I know I am, and I don't care.
We have to affirm people's mental illness, okay?
It's not a mental stop. It is not a mental illness. Right. You feeling like something is a mental illness, John, doesn't make it a mental illness.
Right. We have this thing called the DSM that actually tells us what a mental illness is or a disease, whatever the case might be. We have that. You just don't want to look at that. Anyways, I got to end this, guys. Sorry, I wish I could keep going, but I got to train a client at the gym.
Doug.
Yeah, thanks, Jess, for coming on up. Make sure everybody gives Jess a follow, okay? We're going to rate Polypolitics, okay? It was
nice to talk to you again, Jess.
Yeah, we're going to rate Polypolitics. He's just one of the ones that I see up here that are live, okay? Erica, you want to say any last things before I drop?
Yeah, there's some weirdo called all capital letters Stephen with a V in your comments.
I saw that.
Who's just been constantly... Stephen, just so you know... cis people are more likely to have gender dysphoria than trans people. Just so you know. Just letting you know, Stephen. Anyway, thanks, Doug.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, Erica. All right, guys. Yeah, we're going to rate Polypolitics. Sorry, guys. I try to rate a new person every live, so I don't think I've rated Poly at least anytime recently. So let's go ahead and rate him. If you guys enjoyed the live, click the red follow button on the top left. I do go live just mostly every day, really, so you'll catch me quite a bit. I am also streaming on the tube. Please do follow me there, subscribe, whatever the hell it's called. It is Dougielifts, Dougielifts. The link is in my bio. I don't think I have anything else. It was a really good live. I really appreciate everybody joining. It was terrific. The guests were horrendous as always, but hey, that's what we do, right? Join Discord also, guys, please, because that's where I announce where I go live. The link is in my bio. If the link doesn't work for you, DM me. I'll give you a proper link. But we have like 700 some odd people in there. Please do join that. If you don't want to, you can join the bulletin board by clicking my profile picture in the top left. I announce there when I'm going to go live ahead of time as well. Yeah, that's it. I got to train a client at the gym. I got to work out afterwards, and maybe I'll be live later on. I'll let you guys know, though, okay? Everyone take care. Please raid Polypolitics. Give them a follow as well.